And my hair's not sitting down, so I don't know what's going on.
What is that?
What is
that?
Do you want to just cancel this one and fell asleep on a jizz mat?
You should try Pokemon. No, you should try
Camo?
Camo.
How many episodes of Home and Away have you watched?
There's some underlying tension.
There's not tension, Steph.
It's very vaginal, though.
At least it's easy to find.
That's good. That's very good. In Total Recall.
It sounds like scrotal. and that you've lost your host pizzazz.
This is Marcus Phoenix's dick in a do-rag.
Holy fucking shit.
Hello, I'm Nick Byer. Welcome to Back Pocket for Thursday, the 25th of March, live from the Loki Studios tonight on the show Shame. But I've never felt an ounce of shame in my entire life, so I am joined by
Gus, who's wearing a hat. Right. Next to me
is Stephanie, who had such a lovely sleep last night, and I feel sad for you that you didn't, but I feel very well rested and happy as a result.
And Peter, who has been supping on some fine mead.
Oh, yes.
From Why Has It Left My Head? Because the mead is strong.
Mead is strong with this one. This is cherry mead.
It's cherry mead.
From a couple of weeks ago, sent to us.
Oh, God. Why did we not check?
We forgot.
Why did we just trust Pete?
Yeah, we should.
And his little drunk mind.
We opened more boxes today, and so we've remembered more names. And in doing so, we have filled the space where we would have other people's names.
That's true. Welcome, everybody, to Back Pocket for another week. We are thrilled to have you here. I'm just making sure I haven't seen myself in a mirror all day. Yeah, no.
You look fine.
I look good. We are very excited to have you here for another week. I'm excited to be back with my friends here. Of course, it's not just 5 years, 40 years. Of course, it's not just us. We're also joined by Will on the ones and twos.
Will, who is classified as outside of the friends bracket.
Shit.
Yeah.
He found out.
The kid gets a haircut and gets some attitude. I like it.
I'm just realizing as well, we never set up Will's camera today. He's just
There
not
we go.
even.
Just stay leaned
barely
forward.
in.
Yeah, I'll stay like that.
That's good. That's good.
I didn't want to say anything, but I was like,
What is that
the
phrase?
important part, like, he's on me for not saying he's a friend. The important part of that shot was the wall behind him, apparently. So
I like blurry, lower corner, moody Will. I like it.
Yeah, I like
this
it
is,
too.
This is a look.
It's grungy. It's edgy.
it is edgy. And that's the one thing I've always said about Will. He's edgy.
Yeah.
I'm assuming he's doing something right now.
I'm edgy.
Oh,
Too edgy.
slouch.
Damn.
Yeah.
Will,
Or
there are
posture.
some, there are some sunnies behind you, so if you feel like a bit more attitude, you're always welcome to wear them.
He doesn't even care about his posture or his back. What do we care about? We care about being here. We've got a fun show for you tonight, and we've also got a little announcement at the end of the show as well. So stick around for that. I mean, I assume you were going to stick around as well. It would be weird if you started watching and then were like, you know, I'm just going to watch the intro bit and then leave.
I'm going to wait for that cliffhanger at the end and then
Plenty
just...
of people do that. And look, that's fine.
I'm already over it.
All the good stuff.
Yeah, exactly. You're not going to miss the good stuff now, though, because the good stuff is starting right now. Should we just jump into it?
Yeah.
Does anyone else have anything else they want to say?
This is crazy. Let's just do it.
Yeah, let's just do it.
I mean, my hat tonight is... No, let's do it.
I did want to address the 5 years thing.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Really?
Here is what I have to say.
Wow.
Here we go.
We had
I need more meat.
almost an argument, I would say, before we went live. And
I would say it's as close to an argument as you can get when you have to be on camera and friends in 2 minutes' time.
my thing was that, the 5 years video, we all love it. It's very funny.
Our thing.
It is our thing. We never agree on stuff. Oh my gosh,
We're
Gus.
agreeing.
Oh my gosh, Gus. And I was like, you know, you're going to overuse it and it will stop being funny. Things are funny when you kind of drip feed them and it can last all year.
5 years for what you did. Do not forget what you did.
Yes. No.
Oh, God. Pete and I made eye
you.
contact.
My analogy is-
And I knew what was going to happen.
So this is the problem. The more, like, I'm with you, the more up on, like, a high horse we want to get, the more Peter looks down with his little button and goes, I'm going to press it every time they get angry.
And we agreed that we wouldn't use it this whole episode. So that
I
when we
never
bring
said
it-
yes.
So that when we bring it back next episode, it'll be like twice as funny because people haven't heard it in a while.
And they'll be saying, I want to watch it.
No one's enjoying it.
That's fine.
Because we give Scotty lots of toys.
Yeah.
Right? She has lots of toys and then she kind of becomes like ambivalent towards them. So I'm like, do I buy her a new toy because she's bored of these ones? No. You take the toys away for like 1 to 2 weeks and then you come back and you're like, pineapple, squeaky pineapple. And she's like, what the fuck? This is the best thing ever. And like 5 years is like the squeaky pineapple.
And you are our pets.
I just
love Mario.
Can we just please read some of the chat?
You're not my mum.
Beyond Kel, so there is a dedicated 5 years button. Phoenix Online, don't be a bad parent. We love it. Play it all episode. I'm not over it yet. Games with Planets.
Toxic Chog says, I would like a squeaky pineapple.
I agree. See, I agree.
Oh, you did agree.
No, no, no.
And then you flip-flop.
Have you never heard of delayed gratification?
You're talking to the guy who invented it.
Nick now is going to be like, I totally agree, but then when something cheeky could happen, I was enjoying.
No. I agree.
I stroked the extra 2 strokes, and it was done. Russell Crowe everywhere.
I agree, except I think we provide enough cadence of new bits and cuts and videos and bobs. We pepper it up enough so that that new things are added all the time. And I don't subscribe to the Angus philosophy,
Pete, press it.
which is people, and by people I mean you,
Our pets.
are only allowed to see good things once, and then you must wait for months to see them again.
I didn't say months. I said like a week.
I did
wait.
say the Gus philosophy. I did say the Gus philosophy.
I'm okay
I did
with
say
the
the Gus
months.
philosophy.
You know what you did.
The Steph philosophy is a couple of weeks. The Gus
And you
philosophy.
know what you'll get for it.
Oh, let's move on.
So obviously we're going to be talking about this for most of the show. But before we get to that, and to be able to come together again as friends, and enjoy the rest of the show, let's talk about the games that we've been playing this week. Because I'm just saying, what you all been playing?
I'm so glad he pressed the right one.
Yeah, so
I had to actually like triple take at the
I was like, then would not have been the right time.
Say 5 years.
No.
It's brought to you by Brent Jones, aka LokiCat. LokiCat, I would say, our longest suffering patron. I think we've put him through more than we've put nearly anyone else.
I agree.
Yeah.
I also think he deserves it.
I think the fact that he's stuck around means that he's a glutton for punishment.
He likes it.
He does.
Yeah.
Like the second you're full, the second you can feel it at, the top of your gullet and you think, you know what, I'm done with all this this playful joking around. You just let us know. But until then, you piece of shit.
Oh my God.
It is fun to say.
The more we talk about LokiCat, the more I find him an enigma.
Yeah,
I know.
Who
That's
is
true.
LokiCat? What is LokiCat?
The saddest thing is you bought a really cool Smashing Pumpkins jumper that's too warm to wear on air.
Yeah.
It's been a nice nod to LokiCat. Fan of Smashing
Sometimes
Pumpkins.
the air conditioning in here is really cold, but today is not that day.
It's very
But
difficult
as
to
it
get around,
gets
yeah.
colder in the winter time, I will wear my Smashing Pumpkins jumper, and you will see it, LokiCat,
That's a promise.
and we'll have a moment through the screen.
We'll have a moment. I'll tell you who else is having a moment. Toxie Chorg, who just gifted 10 subs in the chat.
After saying, listen to Steph, everyone, regarding the 5 years thing. So
wow.
you get our thanks both for the subs and also for your
You've
opinion
bought
on
yourself 10 minutes without that playing.
Good.
that. Oh, no, he's starting to hold the audience hostage.
You buy 5 years worth of subs, you know what you did. All right, let's jump off with the games that we've been playing this week. And let's start with the edgiest person in the room, because little Will has actually been playing something.
I have. I got a shirt on for it and everything.
Wow.
Thank God you're in focus.
Yeah, you can see my face clearly. I've jumped into a game that came out last year that kind of got somewhat middling reviews. People thought it was, maybe not exactly what they'd hoped for. It didn't run too well on older generation consoles, but didn't run too badly on PC. I'm talking about Avengers.
Cyberpunk.
Yeah, yes.
I see what you were doing.
I did a little thing.
Avatar.
I've jumped back into the Avengers, the Marvel Avengers. They've just had their big next-gen update last week alongside a DLC for Hawkeye. One of the Hawkeyes, the other Hawkeye, Kate Bishop, got a DLC last year. And I didn't touch this game since it launched. I think I played like 2 weeks of it, and I was like, I've gotten everything I need. It also is failing terribly on, the PS4s and the...
Did you get to end game content?
I got through the main mission. I pretty much got to the end game content.
Okay.
Yeah. But I didn't touch it. And then I just left it. And thankfully I did, because there is a lot more content now available with these 2 new heroes, 2 new stories, and it runs incredibly well. I mean, I think they probably fixed it up on the PC, but now it's like solid 60 FPS, 4K. The dads at Digital Foundry did all their tests, and they got to 59 frames, I think is the most it ever dropped.
So not 60.
Yeah. Well.
All right. I'll keep waiting then.
Yeah, wait for it. But it's super fun. I will say, if you have played this game, the game is the same. They haven't changed anything mechanically. I really enjoy the combat as it was, so I don't really mind. The new abilities with Hawkeye and Kate Bishop are totally fun.
The combat, of course, you're seeing here where he runs through boxes.
Runs through Let's see if I've got anything else in terms of combat.
Kate Bishop and Hawkeye, same moveset?
A little bit different. Obviously, having bow and arrow, like the basic mechanic of it is the same, but you have like different rate of fires, and the other 2 options are different between the 2 of them.
Right.
So there's a little bit there, and like just general animations are completely different as well.
Yeah. Okay.
But that Kate Bishop DLC came out earlier.
That came out, I think, like November or something last year.
Is there a justification as to why...
He has a sword?
No, why they released 2 Hawkeye...
separately.
So I think, having now played both of them, I think they were probably supposed to come out together.
Right,
But
okay.
due to last year's shenanigans and rolled into this.
We've heard of last year's pandemic shenanigans.
Well,
Yeah.
it's COVID. Shenanigans.
Because, I've enjoyed the second half, which is the Clint Barton part of it, a lot more. It really felt like the Kate Bishop one was only there to set up the premise of his one.
Mm-hmm. Right.
She's definitely still a main character in the other one, so it's not like she's been sidelined, but it really feels like maybe they'd only completed enough to release what they did last year, and so they just split it in half.
And was her stuff less story heavy than we're getting currently with
So
Vince?
this, like, he feels like a character, and she does more so in the second one as well.
Right.
The first one, it really just feels like groundwork.
Yeah, okay, right.
Which is why, if you haven't played this since launch, I think this is the perfect time to jump in. It's free DLC. The only thing you actually have to pay for is, like, they call it a challenge card, which is basically a battle pass for each character.
Sure.
But even that, you kind of have enough credits to buy a specific character's battle pass, and then if you complete it, you'll have enough credits to then just free of charge get the next one and just roll
Oh, that's
on through
pretty
it.
good.
What
Yeah.
gets you a new costume so you're not running around in a t-shirt and
Yeah, that.
right.
There's also, which I'm excited to do for the heroes that I didn't touch. I love
Oh, I'm sorry.
because it's an elevator that isn't in a warehouse, but it
There
kind
you
of still
go.
looks like one.
Captain America creeping in the background.
Yeah. So there's all the hero iconic missions that I didn't do, and they get you kind of the comic book costume by the end of it.
Cool, yeah.
So if you complete enough, there's a important thing about Hawkeye as well, because they've done a great job of translating him from the comics.
And this is the Matt Fraction Hawkeye,
Yeah.
right? Because that, like, phenomenal series.
It's amazing.
So good.
So if you know enough about that, one of the exciting elements of this, it's been revealed in the trailer, so it's not too much of a spoiler. But when you get back to the helicarrier, you can wander up here once you've got Hawkeye in your team, and you can greet Lucky, the pizza dog, and you can pat the dog as an Avenger, and it's very lovely. I mean, it's a very janky-looking dog, but, it's still a pup.
It's a janky looking game, William.
Yeah.
It is, but I've enjoyed it, but I don't think I'll be going much longer outside of the content I haven't played.
Yeah, right. And there's the next set of DLC with Hulk?
Black Panther.
Black Panther.
the Next.
Oh, Black
Next
Panther.
one.
What's all the stuff I've seen about Hulk wearing a big old necklace with grey hair?
So that's within the Hawkeye DLC.
Oh,
He's-
okay, that's in this. Yeah,
Yeah,
cool.
so the kind of, to avoid spoilers, the premise is that the Hawkeye's gone to the future at some point. So some of the DLC includes that. And it's
right.
kind of an alternate. It's a bit of World War Hulk and all those kind of storylines.
Because there
Right,
is,
okay.
and I've seen it in the trailer, so it's
Yep.
not a spoiler. There is old Hawkeye in this.
There is.
And I was very confused as to what this was. Okay, that's why. Cool.
Yeah, so there's a little bit of that. I assume it's the same voice actor, but it's fun listening to him as the older Hawkeye because it feels like they're visually going for Kurt Russell, but audibly he's going for like old Harrison Ford. So it's a great mashup of the two.
And this is him.
This is old
40
Hawkeye.
years later in the same t-shirt.
Still running
Yeah.
still able to run through metal boxes.
Those knees still surviving that jump.
And I will say this is also another zone because they kind of hadn't added anything. This is a new zone. It's actually got somewhat, I mean, it's still a big open empty area, but where the loot chests are a little bit more a bit more of a puzzle to get to, which was nice.
I hear this is actually really fun.
Yeah,
the bow and arrow stuff is awesome. He has tons of gadgets, and the story is good. Yeah,
I would say, yeah, especially having the second half, because they're kind of 2.5 hour campaigns all up, maybe 20 minutes of cutscenes. So it's nice to have both of them to be able to play.
yeah, cool,
cool.
awesome.
How funny is it, just as a side note from the game, that we're getting to the point now where superhero movies are so standard and origin stories are done that we're now moving into the realm of alternate dimensions, mixing over universes. It's happening in DC. It's obviously happening in like Spider-Man, and now you've got like, oh, he's from a future where different things are happening. That's the new norm in superhero world. It's like
That's really good. I'm really glad the origin story is hopefully dying.
Yeah, totally. I think when I was kind of on the fringe of comic book universes, I was like, I find it just too much of a barrier to get into because there's all this weird crossover in different timelines and dimensions and stuff like that. And I was like, I can't handle it. And then I saw like 5,000 origin story movies and I was like, I'm ready for another
That's the
dimension.
thing. When origin stories were the main one, it's like you'd go like, hang on, I didn't understand that extra little teaser. And comic book fans would go like, that's from a weird crossover. You wouldn't understand. That's hardcore stuff.
Yeah.
That's now everyone. So everyone's on board for
I think also Into the Spider-Verse really kind
That
of
was,
sold
yeah.
me.
Yeah, I was going to
It was
say
done so well.
The
and
fact
I
that
just-
people know who Miles Morales is now is wonderful.
Yeah.
Miss Jenkins says alternate dimensions has been happening for years, Gus. I think Gus is more talking about like
Common
mainstream pop culture,
Totally.
not comic
Like,
books.
you could argue, is it Days of Future Past? Is the X-Men one where they mix those? Like, that was where we're dabbling. But I'm talking mainstream now when, you know, your mum and pop go to see a movie and they're like, there were 2 Hulks. There was a couple of X-Men running around. You're like, why were you seeing that film without me?
Cool. Peter Burns, what have you been playing this week?
Yeah, man. I've played a smattering of things over the last week.
You took a
I
next
jumped into
step.
Borderlands 3 for the first time to play with Dota mates.
I downloaded that recently too.
Really?
I haven't played it yet, but I intend to.
Yeah.
Was it
it's,
fun?
No, I mean, it's Borderlands. It's good enough. It's like,
I thought Borderlands 3 was like beloved.
it is.
No,
it
Borderlands
reviewed
2 is beloved.
Yeah.
Borderlands 3 was like
It reviewed really well.
did it review really well? It
yeah.
did. I remember people going like,
I'm pretty
kinda
sure it's
over
high
this.
8.
Is that the one with the twins who are like,
Yes,
it's a
yeah,
bad
Yep.
girl twin?
It's 81% on Metacritic. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
It's reviewed. It's
pretty
reviewed,
good.
and it plays like a Borderlands game. It's just like we've had enough Borderlands. But
Yeah,
sure.
But I have left it for a couple of years, so it's fun enough to play.
It's a good co-op shooter. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like the same thing again. It's just like there's a billion guns, and you're just shooting like weird little like trash guys around. I played through Portal 2's co-op mode again in the last week.
Wow.
Just did that whole co-op campaign with a mate. And
Had your friend played it?
he had played, I think, about 40% of it.
Oh, cool.
And the cool thing is it tracks it for both players. So you go up to a world or one of like the stages, and it showed that I'd finished all 8 missions in the stage. And by the time we caught up to each other, like we started from the start, but by the time we were like, do you remember playing this? He was like, yeah, I think I do. It was like, oh, you only played 3 missions in this stage, and then we're playing new stuff.
Yeah, cool.
So we played through all of that together, and it's only like a couple of nights, and it's sick. It's still good. Go and play Portal 2 in co-op if you haven't played it.
And enough time, I imagine, for you to forget most of the solutions and be like, oh, you might be scratching a bit of a like, I vaguely remember this, but like I couldn't remember any of the chambers.
Yeah, I didn't really remember the chambers specifically, but I remembered the tricks that it teaches you about how to. So it was like, oh, I remember that I need to combine these 2 gels in a particular kind of way.
Yeah.
And having that knowledge definitely helped me get through it a bit quicker. But I was like sitting back and letting him kind of work it out, and we're working things out together still. It was a lot of fun.
Cool.
The new game that I jumped into, I played a couple of new things this week, but I played Loop Hero for the first time.
I saw.
I love it.
Yes.
It's very cool. My first session, I played 3.5 hours. I beat the first boss. I kind of started building up the town, and and then it was all I could think about, and I didn't want to go to bed, but I was like, how did it get after midnight? And I'm still playing. And I jumped in today for like a loop, but I haven't had a chance to play much more since that first session, and I'm all I'm thinking about is more loops. Got the rogue character, so
Cool.
like,
It's so cool because like lots of people have described it as an idle game. I think I did when I like pitched it a couple of weeks ago. And it's not an idle game because like you need to be concentrating on something every time.
Yeah.
But the thing that it does that I love that I wish, I mean, more games I guess can't do this. It's just so you can just pause it with a click, and then just go on with your day and come back to it like 2 hours later and unclick and it takes up like 0 resources on your computer. So it can literally just sit there until like you're waiting to join a Zoom meeting and like you can click in for like a minute or two.
Yeah, it's certainly not an idle game. It I think takes up about. I was chatting to Bishop in the chat actually about it last night, and he's not enjoying it. And it's like it is. Like, it takes up 80% of your capacity, which is a weird state to be in.
That's tough.
You can't look
That's
away.
tough for me in
You
my
can't
attention
look-
span.
Yeah.
You can't look away, but also it's like, there's
enough-
it's a fifth too slow.
There's enough downtime to think that you can.
Yes.
And then you look away and something goes wrong.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I put on trashy TV shows that I don't really care about while I'm doing other stuff, but then I start to get invested in it just enough that I keep rewinding the same scene over and over again because I keep missing the same bit and then doing something else.
Yeah, it's that.
But yeah, there's like for me, I'm still really enjoying it because like the first few loops, you learn that there is you're better off playing safe than really like risking. But what you lose in playing safe is your time because you have to restart a loop, and then it's like, oh, did I really gain anything then? But I do feel like I'm still getting new things to play with every time I go back in. At most, it'll take me 2 sessions now to gather the resources that I still require to build the next thing that'll give me a new card. Then I can play a new card in the next loop and kind of learn the new mechanic that's involved with that. So, I'm totally keen to play through and unlock everything.
Yeah, cool.
How lovely is
it.
also that like little first stage when you play it, it's unexpectedly enjoyable, and you put it down like you said, you're like, oh, how did it get this late? And there's that little honeymoon period for the first time you come back to it where you're like, oh, it's all I could think about for a day. I got that with Hades, and I was just like, oh, and like every time after that like diminishes a little bit more, but that first time you come
Like
back
real
to
love.
like real love, yeah.
I got really lucky with the first boss as well. Like I'd built the right things. I was also playing it with I was just chatting to someone in Discord, which I think helped. Like we weren't chatting about what we were like swapping tips and stuff, but it was more we were just chatting.
Yeah.
It was like we're just hanging out, and that was where that extra 20% of brain capacity was able to sit.
Yeah, totally.
So I felt like I was having a full experience, and maybe playing by myself, I would feel a little bit like there's not enough happening.
Yeah.
But I like you played at 2 times speed. The 1 time speed feels redundant after the first.
Totally.
So you played at that. It could probably use a 3 times speed.
There's a hack.
There is a hack.
You can literally just, I believe it's an ini file.
Yeah, right.
And you can go in there and you can set it to whatever speed you want.
Yeah,
so
cool.
I totally recommend to go at like 3 or 4 because if you know when you want to click to pause to plan, then and you can plan during a fight, you can hit plan. So as soon as you come out of it, you'll pause straight away. So I would definitely recommend that, and that will close that 20%.
You hacked that ini file, you're running 100%, Pete.
Oh yeah, it's very cool. I think if you've been thinking about playing it, it's hard. I know. I've seen, and I tweeted about how I liked it, and I got some comments saying like I don't like it at all. And it was like, it's clearly not a game for everyone, but it definitely it's definitely a really cool game with heaps of mechanics. And I think if you are inclined, like even just the graphics are fun to look at, right? Like it's a cool game for many reasons, and I think most people would enjoy it. And if you're not enjoying it, sorry. But the other thing that I want to talk about quickly was I was like just looking for I was idling around on Steam looking for something to play, and I saw this free game that has come off itch.io, but it's free on Steam. It's called Tadpole Tales, and it's a little shoot 'em up side scroller, art design similar to like a Cuphead, not quite as refined as a Cuphead, but it's like I think I got to the final boss in like 15 minutes. It's really hard, but
The boss or the whole game?
the whole game is really hard. Like my first few rounds, I survived 2 minutes kind of thing. But once you get used to the rhythm of the game and the enemy like spawn patterns and stuff like that and attack patterns, you kind of get into a groove of it, and it's got a cool little music track, and it's very simple, but it's free, and it's a cool thing to burn half an hour on, because that's like basically all the time you'll spend in it. You'll finish it after a few rounds, and yeah, it's cool. You upgrade, you become a frog when you get the full
you evolve,
upgrade.
right?
Yeah. So you do like, but if you get hit, you turn back into a tadpole.
You regress.
So it's a bullet hell shooter in a pond.
Yeah. Like the conceit is it's like all
I
these.
like the character design.
I'm transfixed.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It's quite beautiful. It's and everything's really cute. The conceit is that there's like the industrial plant nearby that has made there's put pollution into the water, and so this tadpole just hatch, and you've got to go and clean up all the baddies that are now in your pond.
You're right. That animation and the extra frames in there look great.
Yeah. It's totally wearing the Cuphead on its sleeve, but it's fun. It's fun and it's free.
Cute.
So
Yeah, cool.
I reckon everyone would have a bit of fun playing
You
it.
say it's free, but it's like got a price on Steam or something?
No, it's free on Steam.
Oh, okay.
On itch.io, like many games on itch, it's like it's free, but you can pay what you think it's worth kind of at the end. You pay at the front, but it is just on Steam now.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's when you become the big fat frog. And it's actually like a worse attack pattern. Like
I was going to say
harder to manage.
that spread is really wide.
Yeah. So
Hilarious.
bonk.
Yeah, cool.
It's fun.
Okay, nice. That was Tadpole Tales?
Tadpole Tales.
Tadpole Tales. Is that it?
Yeah.
What a week.
Yeah.
What a week for Peter.
What an eclectic mix.
Yeah.
Stephanie.
This week, because I'm still working on my Valheim thing, that's, I reckon, probably not by next show, but the show after we'll have it finished.
This is going to be freaking epic.
I look
it's
forward to
really
this. I'm not being negative, going wrong, and then it's like, Stephanie, you promised a couple more weeks, and it'll be done.
No, I'm
Like any
putting
construction job. The rain,
Yeah.
I'm putting a release date on it because otherwise we'll never get there.
And release dates historically can't. or ever,
But we've moved into like testing phases and
I was going to say
What?
you've made progress, significant
Yes.
progress.
we've moved
significant
into
progress.
I'm so excited for this.
Banana Corn, Jenkins,
these are
Jerish,
people. Sorry.
yep, Reese,
These are-
Dahlia.
These are test names for what they're going to call it.
Yeah. But also the wonderful thing that's been happening in it is exactly what I was hoping would happen with the Pocket server in that like, because the main like priority that we all kind of just decided to jump on after we sort of built the initial tavern-y area where we kind of store all our stuff. Then we built a big kind of like ritual portal circle. And then we started working on the maze. And we'd been like working on the maze. Everyone's been kind of contributing to it, like different ideas. We've got a whole like group chat in the Discord and everything so that we can all kind of group together. And then I went away for about a week and I hadn't jumped in there for a while. And we were all kind of went back to the maze and we were talking about it. And then all of a sudden somebody was like, you need to go through this portal to the like treehouse. And I was like, what's the treehouse? And they're like, just go have a look. And I went through the portal and I arrived in like, it was like,
Neverland.
oh my God. It was just so, it's one of the coolest things I've seen in Valheim so far.
Can you take some screenshots? Because I'm never going to play this. No? You can't?
You have to join us for
no,
what?
I can, but it's like, I'll do like a video walkthrough.
Okay, yeah, cool.
cool.
Yep.
Because it's like, screenshots won't do it justice. It's like a full treehouse tavern that Meanie has been building. Meanie also in the chat if you're there, and someone else, I can't remember who, but it's like they've put all these potion bottles and stuff that glow and all of these little details and everything, and there's like they've made a little proprietor behind the bar and you can like go up and get a drink and like piles of food on tables and stuff like that, and it's all like up in the trees and then spiral staircases that take you down to different rooms.
Yeah, wow.
It's just like, it's so beautiful.
Yeah, chat's
And I
saying
had-
it's incredible.
And I had no idea it was there. We've just been focusing on this like dumb maze that we've been working on. Like art has been popping up in the server like
so
while we
cool.
weren't even looking. So that's really nice.
We need a Grand Designs tour.
Oh yeah. And then we'll do like a walkthrough of the maze and stuff like that.
Yeah, well,
How's the server holding up? Not chugging with all the buildings in there?
It tends to be like when there's heaps of people on, then we get
okay.
problems. But like, you just work with it, I think,
Sure.
as best you can.
It's the price of progress.
Gat set up the server for us and is managing it. So
So it's his fault that it runs like shit.
No, it's definitely something that the dev team I think is trying to address, but it's just like, the game grew in a way that they weren't expecting. And then the other thing I've been playing this week is Can't Drive This, which I think you played also, Will.
Yes.
What's he doing?
He has to turn his microphone on. Because otherwise it's like a bit of room blue.
Because it straight up look like we caught him.
A little shit bailed. Where is he?
I was like, what were you doing back there? What's hello, yes?
This game.
That was like me when we were watching the Snyder Cut and I was buying T-shirts and you were like, Stephanie? And I was like,
No, I'm not.
I'm totally still watching. So I've been playing Can't Drive This. This just kind of arrived in my inbox and so I decided to check it out. They gave me 2 codes because it is co-op only. You can play it with a friend or you can play online. And basically the premise is one of you drives while the other person builds the track. And
cute.
you are given randomized pieces of road
Wow.
that you have to put, and they've put a mechanic in it that as the car you cannot idle at all or you blow up. So you have to keep moving all the time. And the controls are just frustrating enough that it's like you run into things and like it's not an easy task to just like,
Sure, stay on track.
stay on track the whole time. So you have to kind of always be going forward. And
So-
like the pieces of track that you're given can be like straight road or it can be like ramps that shoot you off. You've got to go through hoops of fire, water, mud,
And
like
do you get given like a selection and you need to figure out the order, or you just get given?
You cannot change the piece that you're given. You can put it somewhere else and then go with the next one.
Okay, right.
Like Tetris.
Kind of like Tetris.
But if you put it somewhere else, that person could accidentally start driving in that direction if it's
Not
too
only
late.
that, they can actually see your placement
Your
ghost.
cursor style thing, yeah, right.
So you might have your thing there and the person's driving towards it and then you change your mind.
right.
And then they're like, oh shit, I thought you were going to build to the right, and which happens all the time.
This is such a great
Which
idea.
begs, sorry, you're probably going to get to it. Is this cooperative or competitive? Are you
No,
trying
it's
to-
definitely cooperative.
Right, okay.
You're trying to get in, like, I've only got 2 modes available at the moment. I think maybe you unlock the others.
Sure.
But one is kind of like an endless mode where you're just trying to get points and you've got kind of like a platform up in the distance that you have to get to and then keep going.
I see, right.
And then there's another mode where it's like you have to collect things that are placed around little platforms that you have to get to and pick up an item. And in the first level it's 2, and in the second level it's 3, and then 4, and then you
Right.
kind of
Oh,
go
that's
on.
good. That keeps
while
it
there's-
interesting, yeah.
While there's a drone that can also bomb you if you get too close to it. So you're trying to like guide the person to the collectible while trying to avoid the drones and also dealing with all the random bits of road that you get given.
Yeah. I noticed as well, like there's debuff squares. So it's like someone might have to put like a wet piece of road in front of you instead of a normal piece of road. But then that like driving through the water, it impairs the vision not only of the
It's-
driver, but also of the person placing the
Yeah,
pieces.
it's crazy. So when you're the person who's building the road, you get like a bird's eye view of what's happening. But in the car, you're only seeing from the driver's
Yeah.
perspective, and there are all of these vision impairments constantly. So it's like you
like the water and
the
that sort of-
water
yeah,
and the
yeah.
mud and all the different things. So it's actually really hard to see. You need to be in good communication with your person.
I love it.
So that they can be like, okay, like you need to kind of head to the right now. I'm going to build to the right. Because otherwise you're kind of just like, I can't see, but I need to keep moving constantly or I'll blow up. It was really, really fun. It was more fun than I expected. Like when I kind of looked at the premise of it in the blurb, I was like, I'm really not sure about this. But like in practice, it was really fun. And I think I was playing it in the office earlier today and I was being very loud.
Yeah, super loud.
Is there a way, like, if you got good at it, it looks like the player who's putting down the track, it's given in such a way that you can't really build ahead. You can't like start
No.
smashing it out and being like, cool, we've
Your camera is locked to where the car is, so you can't just keep like
okay.
Yeah,
chugging
cool.
ahead and
Yeah,
building
right.
track.
That makes sense, yeah.
You're stuck in the screen that they are, so that you're limited by that as well. It's very
Cool, man.
cleverly designed. It's like they've done heaps of playtesting and thought of everything, and they've made it just frustrating enough that you're like, fuck, one more go. Like it's really, really good. The only thing I would liken it to is if you've ever played Unrailed. It's a game where you
Similar train, but
yeah. There's a train that's moving, and you have to mine for resources as a group to build the track as it's going.
I'd say it's one of the top 10 Dragon games.
Oh, it's
what I would say.
so,
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
so,
it was
all
so
this.
funny.
That and Spirit Tracks.
So it kind of reminds me of that in the kind of in the sense that the road is being built ahead of the car. But
I've seen people play this. This has been like in Steam Early Access or something for years.
Yeah.
Like it's been around for like 4 or
2016,
5 years, right, Will?
2016 was when it went into early access.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know, I've seen videos of it, but I never actually knew the conceit until you told me.
yeah. Well, like I said, it feels like it's gone through a lot of play testing because every time I've encountered something that I'm like, I can see that they've really thought well about how to kind of make this work within the parameters that they've set to make it challenging but fun in just the right way. So I'm not sure how much it.
It's like $21 on Steam.
21 sounds.
It's on sale at the moment. It's on Switch as well.
I think it's on everything.
And I'll say just with those modes, Steph,
Yeah.
the kind of way I think it's structured, from what I can tell, is certain modes are locked to a certain amount of players. So I think,
Oh, okay, because there's a 4-player mode.
Yeah.
We were looking at that
yeah.
before.
So I think that's locked to there, and then there's a single player, which is it basically flicks between you building the track and you driving it. So you've got to kind of keep yourself
that sounds
in check.
heaps unfun.
It's stressful.
And you've only got yourself to blame. So
Yeah, totally.
No, I definitely want to play the 4-player mode though. So
Yeah,
if anyone
that
else
would be
picks up this
great.
game, 21 sounds like the right.
Yeah, and then it's $30 on PS5 because it's on sale on Steam, and then it's on Nintendo as well.
I wonder if it seems like one of those perfect
Probably
games.
$80 on Switch.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm making this up, but it's like would be one of those great ones that sometimes Steam does like a bundle pack, like if you were buying it for
Party
someone.
game
But
thing,
yeah,
yeah.
like I've seen them
Yeah,
do that.
yeah.
So maybe if they do that in the future, that could be a cool
On
time to
Switch,
pick it
is
up.
it couch co-op? I don't know, but I don't see a reason why it couldn't be, seeing as it's split screen already.
Well, yeah,
Yeah, right.
that's always
Yeah,
tricky to
I'm
like,
pretty
yeah.
sure they've somewhat angled as that. That's why a lot of those modes are locked behind it. It's like they want
okay.
the couch co-op kind of madness.
Yeah,
So
very
I'm not
cool.
sure.
Nice.
But yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, cool. Angus.
I have been playing a game, but I haven't really told anyone here what it is yet because I thought we could all experience the opening kind of like 30 seconds or so together to set up. It's an interesting premise.
How mysterious.
And I just thought maybe the best way to do it is if we all hear it. So what we'll do is we'll listen to the start and then the game will appear.
Wow.
And talk you through what the rest of it is. So
I feel like, have you made a video game? No.
it's an interesting game. It's a weird game, but I thought this is the best way to get into it. So
Just it fades up and it's Gus's face. He's going, fuck you.
fuck you. Yeah, so if we pop that up and see if the audio comes through.
Finally. Where's the answer button? Oh. Donnie here. I mean, test subject number. What was it again?
Are you in the starting position?
What? Yeah, just off Highway 46.
Are you wearing the blindfold?
Yeah. Hey, that said nothing about a blindfold.
Good.
And the cuffs. Hey, I'm not into that shit, man.
It's good voice
Get
acting.
off.
What? No. Fine. Whatever. I'm cool, man. I'm cool. Hey, your experiment's half an hour, yeah? Because I've got a date later, can't be late, you know what I mean?
Shut up. Start driving.
What do you mean, start driving? Hey, what the hell?
So
Hey, wait! Hey!
the game basically,
Hey! Fuck!
you drive with a
Brakes don't work.
blindfold.
The car's
And using headphones, you listen around for oncoming traffic.
Shit! This thing's going against traffic,
And so the
man.
red stuff is traffic?
Hey, man.
No. So this is me playing it.
Oh my God!
Well, there's not much to see, but it is all the audio that you're listening to. So you're hearing oncoming cars coming left and right. That indicator in the middle is what you're using to drive left and right, just so you know where you are. But if we had the audio up just a little bit, you'll hear a car come past, and then you have to steer around it. You've obviously got lives, and just as the game starts, you've just got to use your ears to hear traffic coming while you've got all the sounds of a car around you.
Oof.
So it's stressful like that.
Like you're dead.
So I took a hit, and then
But you lost a life.
So I actually started playing it with my eyes.
I was going to say, like, playing with your eyes closed would probably help, right?
Well, that's what I ended up doing, and I think I kind of then skip a little bit ahead. What actually happens is there are little story breaks in between every so often, and the game starts throwing all these other factors in there to change it. So the car windows close at one point, so it gets harder to hear cars coming.
Oh, wow.
You get a fly in the car with you that starts buzzing around. These are all
You hate flies.
You hate flies.
These are all really early on, basic little ones. But then you get other elements, which is like hitting a cyclist gets you a life. So you'll start to hear a bell of a bike, and you need to aim towards that.
Wow. What's this game called?
It's called. Oh, good point. It's called Blind Drive, which makes sense.
Name.
It's just the lamest name.
Yeah, totally, it is. But I thought I gave it
says
away.
what it is. It says
I didn't want to give it away because I thought that might give the rest of it away.
it sure would.
It then continues with like phone calls with a baddie who is, or this bad guy who is holding you hostage and coming up with reasons for you to stay in the car.
Driving blind is the expression.
Yeah.
Driving blind. Yeah.
Blind drive.
Yeah.
I think it's called, maybe it's Drive Blind. I'll have to double check. I think it's Blind Drive. But the game starts really cleverly adding all these elements as you go along. For instance, here you can see there's sirens
cops.
because
What do you think it's called?
Blind Drive?
Yes.
It is. Okay, good.
Oh, it's got a cool...
It's got a great looking main menu and icon and everything and an art style, but then this is all you really see in the game. So then there are some really clever little things without spoiling too much where it's like the cops come up beside you and you have to ram them. At one point, there's a guy shooting at you from a farm and you hear the gunshots and have to swerve out of the way, but you've got to aim towards him. So you'll hear his voice moving around you, being like, God damn, I'm going to get you. And you steer towards him and then you hear this thump, oh, God damn, I'm son of a... So like, that's the fun little stuff early on. It keeps
And look
going.
at the face of a fucking Stone Cold Killer. There's also something a little bit weird in that I'm pretty sure that is a like horizontally flipped.
I had to flip
image of your
it, so
face.
I'm going the right way with the screen.
but your face looks
But your
wrong
face is
to
wrong.
us.
It does a bit.
This thing reminds me of the Cylons in Battlestar Galactica.
Oh yeah, the little thing
Light
on the
that moves
visor.
across. Yeah.
So it is. It's quite captivating for an hour and a half. It adds some really wacky elements to it as it goes on. It gets weirder and weirder. You might have seen before a hidden ice cream van, which gives you an extra boost and everything goes colourful.
It says here, a hilarious crime comedy story with mobsters, dolphins, and your angry grandma.
Grandma? Yeah. So it's these phone calls with your grandma involved as well. It gets sillier and sillier and
That's
sillier,
funny.
which is what it needs to do, obviously, to keep you going. I think there's an endless mode that you can play, but I would say the story is really where it's funny because you've got to get past sort of like 2 minutes at a time to get to a story beat.
Yep.
It, as I said, gets sillier, but there are some great little moments. At one point, you accidentally you go off road, and suddenly you're like, what's going on? And the game doesn't tell you until you hear like, and you're like, oh, okay, I'm in a farm. And then suddenly you hear other noises like that. They're some of the, as I said, the simpler ones, but it gets weirder and weirder as it goes on. And for an experience, like, I would say it's very unique and very interesting that I haven't played anything like that before.
It's unique. Nothing can be very unique.
And I enjoyed the short time I spent with it. But I would say at the same time, what did I say?
I said it's unique. Nothing can be very unique.
Oh, okay. It's unique. Fine. Get off your computer.
I'm just, that's what my dad used to always say to me.
okay,
It's just
right.
like, it's unique. Nothing can be very unique.
I believe it's actually a mobile game too. So if you had
is.
headphones and you would play it either, I think, gyro or swiping, because it is such a simple interface.
Which is cool as well, because the, or at least like my phone, like the iPhone 12 has that spatial audio thing, which would be awesome.
And if you had noise cancelling headphones, it'd be really cool. So yeah, it does say you definitely play with headphones, and in that case, I think if you've got good headphones and this kind of tickles your fancy, it is really fun. It is a one and done kind of game.
Yeah.
So I think
How did you find it?
I heard a podcast where some guys mentioned it as well, and they were like, "Oh, this is a fun thing they stumbled across." I think it came out February this year, so it's still relatively new. But it was
$14 on Steam.
Yeah.
$3 on the App Store.
Oh, well, there you go. Well, then I would definitely pick it up as a mobile game because I got it on Steam, and I would say I think I was through the story in just over an hour after putting it down just for a little bit because I got frustrated with one level. Yeah, it's surprising how much it starts. I'm not putting that on like the whole swerving thing. Like I realized I was doing it, so I realized I should probably film this.
Yeah.
Because I was sitting there kind of like when you got hit, I was like it was really fucking loud, and the noise of a car hitting you makes you wince. Like
Yeah,
it's really
yeah,
good
yeah.
sound design, and the way it does travel past you, like really does make you. Sometimes when you miss one and it goes, you just this thing goes up your
Yeah.
spine.
It's a really
So-
cool idea. I really like.
It's
and,
great, yeah, and
Insulter in the chat said, "Is that game accessible for people with vision impairment?" And I think they're talking about this one. Apparently, according to the website, it has full text-to-speech accessibility.
Cool.
It supports Apple VoiceOver, Android TalkBack, NVDA, and Windows TTS. If that's what you're talking.
I think, and the menu said also in the settings, it's like turn everything off if for the truest experience.
Yeah, right.
So I think
All visual?
all visual.
Yeah,
off.
okay.
So in that case, I believe it would cater to the vision impaired. But yeah, look, it was something that I saw. I was like, can that be fun? And I really enjoyed it. But again, I don't think you're in for a long experience, and I don't think there's much more beyond that story. I got to the end. The story is silly. It wraps up silly. It doesn't really blow your mind by doing something like you don't take off the blindfold. I kind of was hoping the whole time. That is not like I was like, but the things they say at the end are great.
You see what you just did?
No.
You finish the level and you die. You just jump to a menu, turn it from normal to easy, and retry.
Yeah, and it was just as hard. I don't know. I think it's kind of like the hitbox time is shortened,
yeah,
and it was feeling really rough. I kept getting
Yeah,
stuck. I was
right.
getting really frustrated, so I did turn it down for that. But it was a fun little game that came along, and I would say if it is cheaper on mobile and you got some good headphones, it's really worth doing on that. I would say it is just worth the $14 for the amount of time I got with it.
Which was how much?
I would say an hour, just over an hour or so.
Yeah, okay.
But I was compelled to get to the end of it.
It's also like a super cool concept that
Yeah,
I've never
yeah.
seen before. So like
Totally.
like, worth rewarding.
I think I was hoping there would be another mode, which was
Yeah.
just like the endless mode or something. But don't play it while driving. But it was really fun, and I liked the start. I was like, "What's this going to be about?" And then the voice acting is kind of funny. Like it's wacky, but it's well performed, and all the audio design in it is great. So worth checking out.
Cool. I actually did not have a huge gaming week this week. Peter stole it. I played two things. So I'm still playing Yakuza. Yakuza still, like a Dragon, still just incredibly fun and really enjoying that. I got a new party member in there now. I'm just, that is like such a, if I'd played that game last year, I would have gone so hard for story in our like end of year thing. Like that, it potentially would crack into my like top 5, definitely my top 10, but loving it. But the thing I've been playing a lot of over the past couple of weeks, and I've never spoken about it on here because I was like, why would I talk about this on here? And then I went, hang on, this is a game. I've been playing tons of chess. So I've always loved playing chess. And
Never heard of it.
So it's basically a real-time strategy game. It's a turn-based strategy game, I guess. So I used to play chess heaps with my dad, and then I played on and off through the years. I'm not amazing by any stretch of the imagination, but like I'm fine. And then I picked it up again a few months ago. I think it was just after the Queen's Gambit came out, and I was like, oh, that's right.
I was
love
going to
playing
say,
chess.
there were, I tried to buy a chessboard on Amazon around the same time, and I was not surprised to find they were sold out. Like, heaps of models were sold out everywhere. So I think, everyone was doing the chess thing.
So like pulled the chessboard back out, and it's actually been something that my partner and I have been playing together, which has been really nice. She may be watching me right now, and she'll kill me for this, but like literally last night, we were sitting on the couch watching Drive to Survive, and she goes, hey, do you want to do a little something on Friday night? And I was like, you're talking sexy stuff? And she just goes, no, I'm talking chess.
So you were talking sexy stuff. Ping me.
And so it's been great. But the way that I've been mainly playing it when I'm not playing with her is chess.com. And chess.com is exactly what you think it is, a website for chess. It's a great app on your phone. It's like the online chess platform, and I used to use it years and years and years ago. But I have been massively getting into it. I play like 8 or 9 games at a time, like sort of that asynchronous sort
Does
of
it
whatever.
have matchmaking based on skill level?
It does. It is entirely
Am
matchmaking.
I going to get matched with Dwight from The Office as well?
So this is the PogChamps. This is the PogChamps tournament, and he is a surprisingly good chess player. He has like a
Yeah.
1400
surprise me.
rating, and he's got a 1200 rating. You can see it there. He's pretty good. But it's awesome. Like I've been diving into, for the first time, I've been really getting into tactics around chess. I think I'd always just felt my way through it. My dad, who taught me, never knew any like openings and lines and strategy. He was just like, this is what the pieces do, and then try to beat me.
Yeah.
And I would never beat him. And then one day I beat him, and he's like, you are the man now. But I've been learning like openings, like English fried liver attack. Like I'm going like, oh, and then I'm seeing how
Fried liver attack?
Yeah, that's one.
My God.
and then it's like how to apply that, how to respond to those,
Yeah.
how to incorporate, like how to finish a game. Like my real weakness, is in the end game,
Closing
where
down
it's like
is really
closing
hard.
out the game is generally where I get caught out.
You
Like
chase them around the board and then realize
yeah.
sometimes you're chasing them and then you're like, oh shit, either they trump you or they...
it's so many times how I lose is
Yeah.
just going, oh God, I thought I totally had you and I didn't see that actually me moving the knight here actually just completely...
And you don't feel great either when it comes down to, like, you were winning, but you're whittling away pieces, and then it's, as I said, if you whittle down, they take some of yours. When it comes down to that, you don't feel like a good win either. It's just like when it was the two of you just chasing each other around the board, you're like, we both played well, but it came down to just who messed up.
Totally, yeah, and that's not fun. I'm seeing Joshua Tree in the chat says double Bong Cloud, and Part-Time Warrior says Bong Cloud, and that's a reference that I actually get. I have been absolutely loving it. And Multifish says you got to pay for the good stuff on the app, though. You do. I subscribe immediately. It's awesome because you can analyze your games. It basically just runs an AI through here and is like, you made 7 mistakes, 2 blunders, and you had 2 missed wins. Here is every move you made. Here's all the ones where the AI, was like, there's literally stuff where they're like, I don't know what you were planning here. Like, what was this? Right. What were you doing? Like, it's at a really high level, obviously, but I've gone through and gone like, you can go using their, like, chess.com's AI. You can go, okay, I'm going to open with this move, like, King's Pawn. And then you can see every move, the statistics of like how often every single other piece is moved as a response to that move.
Yeah, right.
And so you can game out like, oh, well, if I do this, it's most likely that they're going to do that. Now, how many games are people doing something like this? What's the percentage of people doing this where they actually win a game as opposed to not win? And it's just like, I'm following YouTube channels. I watch chess streamers every morning.
League and that baseball
combined.
Yeah.
Like I watch my favorite thing to watch. I watch tons of chess streamers at the moment. I watch the Botez twins do speed chess, where they're basically just they're called bullet chess or blitz chess, where they have 1 minute each to play their game. It's fucking just like,
it's insane.
All consuming my life right now, and I'm having so much fun. Chess. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's definitely worth
might catch on.
It might catch on.
And did that have, just to finish, some of those moves, some of those modes where they're like challenge modes where they're already set up, and it's like, I really enjoyed them where it's like
it's tons of puzzles. Yeah.
Puzzles to get out of, or to be like, oh, there's no moves here, but there's one move.
And I think you can do some of those for free. The subscription unlocks like unlimited. Right. But yeah, I love those as well, where it's like, here it is, here's the timer, and then like, how did you do on finding checkmate? It's just the world of chess is a world that I'm thoroughly, this is what we were talking about on Wednesday, where it's like, I pick up a hobby, I dive as deep as I can, and then I surface and I'm like, this is how good I'll ever be at chess.
I'd like us to all occasionally, as we go on with this, what we've been playing weeks after week, occasionally be like, I'm into this little thing, it's called Mousetrap. So everyone's playing it. Like, we should all just fall back into a board game or two.
Hungry hippos. You wouldn't believe how hungry they get.
Oh, you wouldn't believe the strategies you can put into Hungry Hippos.
Check out some chess, because it's a lot of fun. Let us know what you've been playing by joining our Discord. We'd love to see what you've been playing. And if you are on chess.com as well, let me know in the Pocketeers Club or something, and maybe we can play a game or two. All right. We'll be back with more game talk after this short word from our sponsors.
Broadcast from 4th, McClunky. Hello and welcome to Super Seducer 2. We're back, bigger and better.
What is this set?
I listened to your feedback and we've made a number of improvements. The first thing is ethnic diversity. We've got Asian characters, black characters, Arab characters, and even a Scottish guy. Press start and I hope you enjoy it.
Okay.
Oh, there's so much to unpack.
Oh my god.
Already.
Oh my god. Let's start with story mode.
Do it.
Posh Totty versus Supermodel. That's chapter 1, Nick.
All right, good. She just stepped off a yacht, but the supermodel is just too sexy.
Goal.
A number,
Sex.
or
Your enemy.
what?
We are almost out of words from our sponsors, which is one of the specific tiers we have on the Patreon.
I think the issue is like a sense of pressure that it has to meet a certain standard. It doesn't. It absolutely doesn't.
Not enough pressure. Maybe you need us to put the pressure on, to lay it on thick.
Sense of pressure. Sense of pressure. Sense of pressure.
Pressure.
Pressure, 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 pressure.
A sense of pressure.
Welcome back. Yes, Steph and I played that terrible game.
I did. But the thing is, we went into it not knowing what it was.
Yeah.
It seems to be like people are aware of it and know it. So
I mean-
you can watch us like discover what it actually is as we're playing it, and then you see the ashen expression on our faces as we realize like.
Yeah, like I knew what it was, but I did not know what it was. Like and there is only one episode of that one because it was like
Only one episode.
yeah.
We bailed hard on it, but I would say, like, I would prefer you to watch our video of us playing it than ever give that person money.
It's a cautionary tale that if you ever meet someone who looks like that in the street or says any of these things to you, run. But yeah, it was, again, as always, fun spending time together. And a massive thank you to Flynn Williams and Adam Drage. Drage?
Drage?
Drage? Adam Drage. For your word from our sponsors.
for you, sir.
Thank you very much for sending those in. Now, before we get to our next big seg, a little update on something from the past because it's 2021. Some games have come out. We picked what games we thought would be good in a little seg we called Pocket League. And the first two Pocket League picks for 2021 dropped. The reviews dropped yesterday and today for these two games. And
Breath of the Wild 2 snuck up on us like that.
Just one of those surprise releases. The first one that came out, the game comes out tomorrow, is Monster Hunter Rise, which is Nick's fourth round pick.
Well, let's have a look at where we all ended up.
Let's remind ourselves of what decisions we made.
Yeah.
Because so Monster Hunter Rise, the first game on this entire list that's come out. Potentially only one of two games on this entire list that will ever come out, if this year is any indication. But I am surprised that I managed to pick it up in the fourth round.
Yeah, and It Takes Two is the other one. Steph's third pick there. So
absolutely, Monster Hunter Rise netting itself on Metacritic, which we will actually pick the score a week after the game comes out, so there may be a little tweak, but it'll be like a point or two.
And the Metacritic score.
Yes, not the user score, which is always either 9.9 or 0. There's never any in between.
7, no.
The Metacritic score for Monster Hunter Rise sitting on 87.
Ooh, not
87.
bad.
Pretty good. Monster Hunter Rise. IGN Japan gave it 100 out of 100.
What?
Which is not surprising. IGN Japan.
Oh, sorry, yeah. No, okay. But also just like, 100 out of 100.
they go down to the shops, they get their milk, they get their bread, they get their Monster Hunter.
So you're done. Yeah. You go into
the weakest part of the game apparently is something called Rampage Mode. They said the new Rampage Mode, where the player must battle large multiple monsters at once, offers a stunning balance of variety and difficulty.
That's the worst.
And everyone I've heard is like, it's the worst part of the game, and I'm glad I only need to do it 3 times.
You can have a balance of mechanics, but a stunning balance.
I know, it's stunning, a stunning balance.
Your
It's
dad
like
needs
being
to lean in
very
and go,
unique.
Your dad needs to be like, it's just balance.
It's just
not
balance.
stunning balance.
And then Easy Allies gave it 90 out of 100 and said, Rise goes out of its way to experiment with bold new ideas that make it a more captivating game, whether it's your first Monster Hunter or you've cooked thousands of well-done steaks before. Without a doubt, Rise isn't just a worthwhile Monster Hunter entry, but an essential game for anyone who owns Nintendo's hybrid console. Oh boy.
Yeah. Enjoying this even more now.
I just want to point out, someone, Quarter 1988 says IGN don't have a 100-point rating scale, but they do because they use decimal points after a digit.
Yeah.
So they've turned a 10-point system into a 100-point system.
Exactly.
But I think IGN US and Australia just do 1 out of 10, and I'm assuming IGN is Japan.
They don't ever do half scores? I'm
No,
sure they do.
I don't think they do half scores anymore. I
don't know, but I believe at least Metacritic like turns them into.
Yeah,
anyway,
they find a way.
This is not a moratorium on fucking review scores. This is all about me winning right now. Has Monster Hunter Rise, these reviews, whetted anyone's appetite for this game more so than just me?
I guess so. I feel like I enjoyed. I think I played Monster Hunter World.
Yeah, that was the last one
Yeah.
that came out on all next gen.
Yeah,
consoles.
yeah, and I feel like I enjoyed like the world itself, but I
good.
feel bad about the monsters that I'm killing. And I know that sounds really lame, but I think in most games when you're like killing stuff, it's usually because you like need to kill it because it's gonna try and kill you, or for like meat to survive or whatever. But like often in Monster Hunter you see like a beautiful creature that's just minding its own business and it's got like a baby, and then you just have to kill it, and they don't really give you a great reason for it.
Yep.
That makes
That's
me
Monster
sad.
Hunter.
That makes me sad.
Come play a bit of hunting on the savannah with me. You'll lose that instant
Yeah,
soon.
And then we also have It Takes Two, which the reviews dropped for that today. Stephanie's 3rd round pick. And that is sitting on. Now, this one's difficult because I just checked and there's 3 separate scores because it's on 3 different platforms, and it does it by platform.
We do an average between them.
I'm thinking we need to average
sense.
them. And if we average them, Stephanie, through the power of do we round up or do we use the decimal place?
I think we should round up.
Let's ask IGN.
Let's ask IGN. If we round up, which I'm happy to do, Stephanie, It Takes Two, currently sitting
Currently sitting.
89.
I would feel so much better about this if the other games on my list were almost definitely delayed. I was really confident about my list at the start of the year, and then now I'm just looking at everything, and I just really feel like It Takes Two.
Horizons are not coming.
Horizon's not coming.
I think we've all got a couple
12
of them
minutes
on
I'm really
this.
worried about. I feel
Yeah.
like that's not going to come out either.
PC Gamer says it's refreshing to play a co-op game that isn't so arcadey, and It Takes Two is one of the best story-driven multiplayer games on PC. And Eurogamer says if you can swat the story away to the background and consider it a slightly ill-chosen setup for an adventure, there's a lot about It Takes Two to enjoy. It's a rare kind of co-op experience with an energy, imagination, and playfulness that sometimes rivals Nintendo's. Ooh. Look at that. I am very excited for this game.
The cool thing about this one,
Me
isn't
too.
it, that it's split screen even if you're online. So the idea is you'd be playing online with someone else watching their side of the screen, I take it.
Yeah.
It's not... I mean, am I right in saying it's the same developers who did...
It is the same developers that did A Way Out.
A Way Out. Sorry. This
Which
is,
I really enjoyed. Like I know
yeah,
it wasn't
yeah.
like the most revelatory thing ever, but the mechanic was really cool, and I enjoyed the nature of the co-op gameplay. I really,
Totally.
really enjoyed that, and that's what I'm looking forward to about this.
They realized that their biggest asset was that crazy developer that they've got making the game.
Yeah.
So they made him the book.
Totally, yeah.
Totally.
And also, like, my memory of playing A Way Out was like, there was lots of... Sorry. There was lots of time where it's just like walking,
yeah.
crawling
Yeah.
through a tunnel or something.
Yeah, yeah.
And this game seems to, like, from all reports, is just like balls to the wall action.
And it's mechanic after mechanic that plays
You're
with-
changing mechanics every
every
time
time.
in every
Yeah.
biome.
The crawling through the tunnels works. Like, that was a really interesting part of our playthrough of A Way Out, where because you escaping through sewers, there's a bit of Prison Break stuff going on. If the player in front holds back on their controller while the player behind is pushing forward. The face of the player behind goes right up the arse of the player in front. So we had a lot of fun in that tunnel.
I didn't have as much fun as Pete thinking he had.
You're at the back.
I was the tail of the donkey. We played that whole game.
Yeah, we
start to
went
finish.
through that,
Remind me, because we played the whole thing. Was the whole thing in split screen too, or did it do that thing where you got your own screen for a little bit while they did something else?
It favoured from memory, didn't it?
But it always kept them in.
You always saw
played
the
it
other
with
person.
Miles on the
Yeah,
screen.
yeah, right. You did.
Yeah.
It was a good time. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. I feel like it's going to be
Thank you, William.
a fun game to play in like couch co-op. If we do it in couch co-op.
Yeah.
Because we live in the same house together. Because
Yep.
we are husband and wife.
It's an advantage.
Yep.
And will you be after this game? Then?
Well, we're gonna
Not if I play 5 years for what you did again.
Oh, God. Obviously, if we looked at that rundown of all our drafts that are
Yes,
there,
please.
we'll be adding those scores to them as we go. At the moment, not the case, but
Will, can we get that up? Pete, how are we feeling about our list?
I feel like 3 games on my list are not going to come out.
Well, you think that's 12 Minutes, Horizon, and Jet?
Yeah.
Yeah. I reckon 12 Minutes is still coming out.
I hope so.
I think that they announced the voice cast. Like, if that game is not done this year, Steph, how hard could it
I don't
possibly
know. I
be to make a
mean,
video
Can't
game?
Drive This was announced in 2016 and it's only just coming out now.
It wasn't even announced. It was playable in 2016. So, yeah, okay, that's a good point. I am feeling pretty good about my list. I'm a little worried about the Hollow Knight Silk Song. We've got many, many months ahead of us for that game to be confirmed. I'm not worried about it. It'll be good, just whether it's coming out. And the gunk could still be the thing that thanks me, but it could also be the thing that, like, I picked it.
Surprise,
I stand by the pick. I stand by the pick. I'm just saying the gunk is the gunk's gonna fuck me up.
I'm more confident now. I mean, I'm still hoping every day with bated breath for Roller Champs, but also Deathloop. I've got my hopes have raised for that now. I've like my Deathloop and Roller Champs where I'm hanging a lot of my points on for that.
Deathloop is such a wild card for me. I just don't.
Yeah.
I feel like it's either going to be awesome or terrible.
Particularly because you have basically a guaranteed did not play in
Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the sound of me deflating.
And I've just got a field of 9s.
Well, you have a field of like,
And maybe a 6 for Halo.
we have no idea.
But Halo will probably
But I
come
love
out.
that you stand by Halo to this day.
Halo had to be picked. Pokemon Snap is like Pokemon Snap and Back for Blood. I'm just like laying into the nostalgia, and Warhammer. They're all picks for the people that get paid to review these things for like websites are the people that like these things. So like that's the reason Monster Hunter gets a 10 out of 10 in IGN Japan. Because
exactly.
they fucking love it.
Yeah, they're not giving it to Steph, who was like, I hate killing monsters. So it's like, they're like, oh yeah, let her review it.
I hate photography. Pokemon Snap?
So we will be updating the list as we go and checking back in. Can we see that list one more time? I know we're probably sick of it.
No.
The next thing to come out
Sons
on
of the
that
Forest.
is probably Sons of the Forest.
Sons of the Forest is a wild card. It's going to be that little indie sleeper that comes back and they'll just be like, oh wow, yeah, no, we actually really didn't expect this. Surprisingly great game. Well picked, Gus.
Why
Why did they write that in the review? That's strangely specific.
New Pokemon Snap is the next thing, I believe, to come out on April 30th, and then
next
it's
month.
Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Steph with the second pick there. Such a good pick. Oh, such a good pick.
Oh, and then maybe, did you say Resi?
Yeah,
Resident Evil, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I definitely did not say Breath of the Wild 2. And while Gus wallows in the shame of that pick, it's been a bit of a down period for games over the last couple of weeks. I've been taking advantage of that down period by going through some of my back catalogue that I need to play in 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim, Yakuza Like a Dragon, and we thought it would be a good idea to go through all of our back catalogue and pick a couple of games from our pile of shame and promise that we'll get to them over the course of this year. And this is
Take them off the list. We could.
Shame.
Baby. Jesus Christ.
I mean, we kind of muddled the intro, but I think the graphics makes up for it.
Imply we could shave them off the list.
It's good. It's good.
But that comes out of left field and just goes, what the fuck is this segment? They're shaving me again.
It's good.
Oh, God.
The only problem with that, I would say, it's too short. It goes by too fast. I watch it and I go, I want to see more of that.
Well,
Yeah, I want one more. I want
play
one
it
more
again.
round.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want one more round where he's bald at the end of it.
Yeah, that's true. It needs one more. It needs one more, and he's hairless.
I blinked and it was gone.
You look so good. You look so good
I'm
with
gonna
that
bring
beard.
it back. The long hair, the long beard.
I hope so.
It's coming back.
I hope so.
No, we should just digitally remove it like they did for Henry Cavill.
Yeah, that'd look great.
Red giant top lip. No.
And chin and cheeks.
We'll just stretch the top lip over Gus's head.
Oh, just liquefy the top of his skull and just.
Bring the whole thing over the top. Yeah.
Will I swear to Mother Mary, if a bald, clean-shaven Gus does not pop out of pocket in the next week, you will not be sitting in that chair. This is Shame Shave. This is where we're going to shave off some games from our pile of shame. We're going to commit to playing them this year and sort of, plug some of these gaps. Gus, what gap do you need plugged?
I have many. I have a huge pile
It's
of
an
shame.
expression.
Yeah.
It's the correct expression.
Is it?
I have a huge pile of shame. Many games that I'd like to complete, and looking over them, I thought, which ones realistically am I going to have time to get to?
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, do I think I would be compelled to finish
Mm-hmm.
and see through to completion? And the one that stuck out straight away.
Just really quickly, sorry, I know.
No.
But on that, I think a lot of the pile of shame is like, you look at a game and you go, I want to be the kind of person that plays
Yes.
this. Not necessarily, I want to be the person that put 35 hours in.
There were many of those games that I looked at and thought, oh, that would definitely represent me. It's like,
Yeah.
no, they represent who I want to be as a person playing games,
Totally.
having time to do that.
Yeah.
So being realistic, but also a couple that passed me by that I remember being stupidly excited for. And the first of them was the sequel to Ori, which was The Will of the Wisps. I played...
Even I played that.
Well, I played it. I probably played 2 hours and was like, I love everything that's here. And I adored the original of this. I finished it in a couple of sittings. I fell in love with it. The art style, the Metroidvania aspect, everything that was in it, I loved it. You know, really teared up, like thought the story was wonderful. And so when they announced the sequel, I was super pumped, and then watching it evolve, it was literally a trailer that played at E3. Sorry, it played at E3, and I literally cried sitting there. I got teary. There was there's the trailer where like the owl is being the baby owl,
Yeah.
and it's the music. It's the music gets you. It's this beautiful. Yeah, don't do it. And so I was pumped for a sequel. It got delayed a little bit. I remember a couple of delays that, but nothing that was too like, you know, it was never the game that was never going to come out. And so when it did come out, I was really excited. Sat down for a while and saw that they'd really built on so much about it in terms of heaps of new move sets, mechanics, and kind of more of an RPG element. You had that hub area in the middle. So I played through to there, and it's one of those terrible ones like Hollow Knight or something, Metroidvanias. If you put them down for too long,
It's so
you really
Yeah,
lose
it's hard
your
to pick
place.
up.
That's exactly what happens. I burn out on these games really hard because I started playing this and I reckon I played it like all day, and then the next day I played it for like half a day, and then I remember getting to the end of that and I was like, I feel like I've played too much of this game too quickly.
Yeah.
And then I kind of realized a couple of days later when I was like, oh, I should go back and finish that, and then I had that conversation with myself. I was like, you're never going to finish it.
And then all it takes is to forget kind of which direction you were going and what
Yeah.
objective you were following, and it can be a real pain. That
I
happens.
really enjoyed what I played of it though, and I
Yeah.
don't actually feel the need to finish it, but I'm happy the time that we had together.
Yeah.
I think
Grew from the experience that we had, and I
Yeah.
feel like we're better people.
a very similar situation, but I feel that I have a commitment to this series or to this character that I'm like, I did have such adoration for it in the original that I'm like, it deserves to be finished. I think I'll probably restart just so
Why?
because I was really realistically
You're not
like
going to remember it.
if you
2 hours.
restart, you won't finish it.
He only played 2 hours.
Yeah, that's fine. That's
Yeah,
a whole
okay.
day.
Okay.
I am actually in the same boat as you. I
Yeah,
never
right.
finished it either. I adored the first game. I loved this. I probably put like 5 hours in. And when I bought a new TV a couple of months ago, like a 4K OLED, the first thing I put on it is I booted up the Xbox Series X and put this on. And Ori's just standing there in like an acid swamp. I'm just like, this is
It's
the
like
most beautiful thing I've
foreground,
ever seen in my
background,
entire life.
everything's
Yeah.
And then I went, I should start playing this again. And then I was like, where the fuck am I? But watching that now and hearing you, I'm going to add this to my list to play this year. Because yes.
I will say one of the things that turned me off it a little bit was the idea that they had gone bigger and bigger with this.
Yeah.
And the idea was like Metroidvanias in their own sense, like they're intimidating. And Hollow Knight is a game I wish I finished. I got about more than halfway through that, and I got to a point where there was just the map was too big. I wasn't sure what I was doing, and I liked that at least in the original, you always felt like there was a sprawling map, but you were always being pushed in one direction. I think here there's a few points where it's like you can choose objectives, you can take quests from those NPCs at the hub area, and I didn't love that as a choice creatively because I liked the idea of just almost a linear game through what feels like an open world. So I think I'm going to, knowing that's coming up in my replay, I will address that when I get to it and try and focus on the story beats and not get too distracted. But yeah, it's such a beautiful game, and it was criminal that I didn't keep playing it. So I think I am picking up a Series X ASAP and got my hands on one. Series X? Yeah. And I think this will be the first thing I plug into, and yeah, can't wait to play it. What?
If only someone offered him one.
Yeah.
Nah,
Only
look,
someone offered to give him one.
no. Give it. Give, lend. Lend, give, borrow.
Land.
Stephanie.
Are we doing one
One at a
game?
time, one at a time.
One at a time, one
Okay.
at a time.
So I had
It's got a spoiler one.
no. I just
Sorry.
5 years. Fuck, you and I should be married.
But now it's his button when he gets embarrassed in like marriage problems. It's like, oh, where have you been? What is that I can smell on your breath? Runs out of the room.
I feel like my first pick is kind of boring, but it's just there are actually so many games, like recent games, that I just haven't played because I've been playing so much fucking Destiny and more recently Valheim. And like it's kind of nice, and I've kind of just accepted it because I'm a big RPG person, and I just power through RPGs by myself on the couch. Like that's the kind of gamer that I have been and always will be. So I thought. But because 2020 was like the year of the multiplayer stuff, and I was just like, I want to play games with all my friends.
I think
like,
the year is COVID, but you can claim it if you want.
Time Magazine. The year of multiplayer stuff and that shenanigan pandemic.
the shenanigan pandemic. I mean, like, yeah. I mean, from the point of view of video games, I just have not been playing and finishing anything that I would normally be like putting all my time into. So there are so many games that I could say, but I think probably the one that is most at the top of the list for me priority-wise is Valhalla.
Yeah. You didn't finish Valhalla.
No, in fact, I didn't even get like close. Like I played a bit of it on stream.
Did you make it to England?
Sorry?
Did you make it to England?
Yeah.
Okay, right.
Yeah. Like I'm working my way through like
okay.
stuff, but like, and
Wow.
I'm really enjoying it, but I just, I think it was such a big game, and I was just like, I still haven't got the raid exotic. And
Is there
and I've
sort of-
been very much like every time I think about playing something else, I have FOMO knowing that everyone else is playing online
Sure.
the games that like I
Totally.
actually want
Yeah,
to play.
yeah.
And I feel like, and I'm a big believer in just like giving yourself over to like whatever is taking you in the
Chase the
moment.
fun.
Chase the fun, yeah.
Is there
because
a little bit of like, just really quickly, because like, and you can disagree with me about this if you want, if you feel this way, but like, do you ever find there's like a game or a type of game that everyone around you thinks you're going to love, and you might still love, but there's the pressure to be like, oh, you must be playing it all the time. And
I was going to say, this
it's
is
not
like
that
the
you-
definition of shame for
Yeah,
Steph
yeah,
that she
yeah,
hasn't
yeah.
played
No,
this.
totally.
No, but
and I really actually like, even with a little bit of I've played of it, I know it will be, and I can already say it is in one of my top.
Totally,
like
yeah.
Assassin's Creed games. I would say 2, Black Flag, and this, and everything about it is like amazing. It's just that like I feel like I'm in a moment in my life right now that is more social, gaming wise,
totally,
and I don't want to like let that go.
I think that's a great point that like this game will always be there.
Yeah.
You can play this whenever you want, but this
Yeah.
moment of like you and your friends doing this stuff in Destiny, you making these friendships is like a very now thing.
And I'm very aware of the fact that like games like this, multiplayer games kind of hit the sort of gaming zeitgeist, and people really go hard on them, and then often kind of they move on. So it's not like that I can come back to necessarily, because everyone's kind of moved on from that, and maybe they've moved on to other multiplayer games, or maybe they're playing other stuff, and then maybe that's my time that I'll go play Valhalla. But like, I kind of just want to be in this moment while it's all fun and happening, and I'm building a death maze with the Pocketeers.
Of course.
Sure.
So when I have a moment free
Time
at some
permitting.
point the year, I'm just gonna like pummel a weekend into this game, and
And somehow you're going to extend the hours in that weekend to be 100.
Well, you've probably played, 15 hours of this?
I've played a bit, and it's not like I'm not a completionist.
Which is
I
the
don't need to
equivalent
do
of two
everything.
in Ori as well. Like, it is like you
Yeah, totally, yeah.
started.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
cracking the can. And,
Yeah.
like,
Except the
I
difference is
don't need to do every single thing in this game, but I would like to finish it.
you boot up Assassin's Creed and you're like, what was I doing? And then you open up the map and it's literally like, here, you go here. This is the thing and here's this thing.
Oh no.
that's fine. That's water.
It's fine.
Everyone did that.
It'd be cold,
Right,
though.
Start the game.
That'd be freaking cool.
Even I've done that.
Cool. Okay, great pick. Surprising pick. Did not expect that. Peter Burns, surprise us.
It's called the Shame Shave, isn't it?
It's a shame shave.
Got the shame
We're gonna
shave.
shave the shame.
We're shaving.
This is a pretty big point of shame.
Yep, let's
I've
shave
not
it.
played God of War 2018.
Yeah, that's pretty shameful.
Shave that, Peter.
It was like game of the year for heaps of people. It was very positively received. I guess I just didn't feel like playing a third person spam some buttons game. And I know this is so much more. Like it's a narrative driven game, really. But God of War was
No, narrative-driven game. Swipe at the boy.
God of War was never really like a series that I loved. So when they reinvented it for this game, I was like, yeah, they're reinventing something that I don't really have a lot of passion for. They reinvented it into something a style of game that I really like. And I just then never got around to it. And then I heard how good it was and then just was like, okay, it's good. And then never picked it up. So yeah, I've not played a single minute of this. In fact, I haven't even seen people really play it. I've just heard that it's good. I've seen the trailer. And that's about it.
I adored it. I am worried. I don't know. I think it's 50-50 on what you're either going to love it.
Yeah.
Or you're going to go, I see the game here.
Yeah.
Like, I see all these parts. And the combat is kind of like Dark Souls-y, but it's not.
Yeah.
Like, it's super light, kind of like Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
I think, it's a game of, the best possible components put together.
Mm-hmm.
But also, if you think about it, you can see how those components are all put together. But
Yeah.
I love this game so much, so I am
Yeah.
excited that you want to do it.
I put it down, maybe sort of like 6 or so hours in. I did hit a point where I loved everything mechanically going on about it, and again, not trying to it's not a spoiler at all, but there was a point where they've stripped a lot out to make it a really cinematic and sort of natural game in the processes of things like the combat and stuff like that, compared to what it came from as a series.
definitely.
And I actually burned through the first two God of Wars when they came out as a collection on Vita. So I was like, I want to get through these as a series at one point, and knocked 2 of them off my pile of shame. And so I was keen for this. There was a point, which I don't know if many people agreed with this, where you get to a sort of a hub area where you can start traveling to other bits, and it just... I saw the game.
Yeah.
It went hardcore with the you've gotten to here. Now, you'll need to collect these to open this to go to here and rotate the gate to go to here. But first you'll need to... And I was kind of like, It wasn't happening organically the way everything else up to that point had. I unfortunately then put it down there. I think from everything I've seen and heard, you just push through that, and then every area you travel to and every level and whatever you're doing is wonderful. But there was a little bit of a speed bump, I guess, where I lost it, and I don't know if I can pick it up again from there, but
Yeah, okay.
Start again from the start with you.
Yeah. I mean, I also have the luxury of being able to play this now on the PS5. I think it's 4K 60
4K
FPS.
60, yeah. People have said it's one of the best optimizations of a PS5, up to a PS5 game.
Yeah, and it's one of all that collection.
Yep.
It's one of the most recent games in that collection still as well. So it's yeah, I haven't been sleeping on it for too long, but I have been sleeping on it. And,
It's a good place to pick it up now too. Yeah.
It's just it just looked to me and seeing a skill tree there and stuff again. It's just why is everything 400 games in one. Like it's like, and we're
Adding
like,
RPG mechanics to everything, and
yeah, it's like just let me play this dumb button mash action slash game.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Nick, but from everything I remember, it's pretty much you can play that on like rails essentially.
it's very minimal. Like the
Yeah.
gear collection and stuff is very much like, this is clearly better than this other piece, and just put it on. There's not a huge amount of that stuff, but
if you wanted to find the other bits to, I think, take that to a deeper level, you could.
You definitely
but
can,
if you
yeah.
just ignore it, it's just like upgrade here because the guy tells you to and move on.
But
So
it is a thing that, like, because it's like a single shot as well. That's the conceit behind it. It's like it's a one-er.
Yeah.
It's super narrative, and the story is awesome. There are so many great characters in it. When that stuff pops up, it's like, get out of the way of yourself.
okay.
Like, stop making me sit in menus with him putting on gear. Like, it looks awesome on him. The gear is awesome, but like, just because it's cool doesn't mean that like it necessarily belongs in this, because
Yeah.
it is a bit of a like tonal breaker. But there is a fight in the first like 2 hours of this game that is like, you go, I have not seen a fight like this in a
that's
video
my
game.
reason for restarting it if I do get back into it, just to get through that fight again.
I assume big scale fight stuff. Like, because that's what God of War is already.
Well, you'll find out when you play it.
Tell us when you play it, mate.
Find out when you play it. Cool.
Reeks that fight. Yep. No more, Peter. You play that game.
Great
Fight
pick.
the world.
Nick.
My first pick. So my first pick is a bit of a combo. Very recent game. Potentially the most recent game on this list. Maybe except for yours. But also a very old game. My pick is Final Fantasy VII Remake. So I have played Final Fantasy VII a little bit, a lot. So I played
the OG.
the original Final Fantasy VII.
right.
I played the first 7 hours of that game, maybe 8 times, and then I kept just giving up and getting bored with it.
How good
And
is the train, though?
It's one of the top 10 trains. I kept giving up and getting really bored, and then
Can I ask from what age? Like, when was the first
like
time?
when it came out.
Yeah, right.
And then I would pick it up again and go, no, I should play it again. And then I get about 7 hours in and I got really bored.
Secret of Mana for me. Exact same thing. I
Yeah.
played the start of it maybe 12 times.
And it definitely, this is like, that's like, I don't believe in feeling any sort of shame when it comes to like, oh, you haven't played a video game. But if I had to, it'd probably be Final Fantasy VII. But I'd heard so many great things about the remake, and I was a little hesitant at the beginning, and then I played about an hour of it a couple of months ago, and I went, oh,
Look
this
at that
is fun.
stupid hair.
Look at that stupid hair. But it's really fun. And I realized this is the way that I will experience the Final Fantasy VII story. Now,
Yeah.
before you get on me, I know they've changed stuff. I know that it's only half the story, or not even that so far.
Oh,
I know
like
that they might
fifth?
never finish this series. But if they do, when I'm 70, I will have finally played Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, nice.
And I don't think any of you guys played this one, right?
No.
No. And I never played the original. I watched a friend of mine play it on PS1. PS1? Yeah. And he was so into it, and I was staring at him going, what are you playing? Like, I was a Nintendo fanboy, and watching him play that kind of like little sprites moving on a photograph kind of map style,
Yeah.
that version of the graphics. Yeah, never really appealed, but I've been envious of how much the love they have for that one game.
Yep.
Like throughout the years, it sits in the top 5 list of all games of all time, and thinking, I can't go back and play that now. There is a Switch version that's been pretty well received of a kind of like an up-res as the best way to play it now. But I think you're right. This is the best way to play it.
Okay, and the hour or so I played, it's gorgeous, and the combat was so much fun. And so I just really got into that. So I think that, what are we now? March, April is going to be Monster Hunter for me, and then May will be Resident Evil, and then June is when the free upgrade of retrograde or regrade or integrate, thank you, that turns it into a PS5 game, and that's when I will tick this one off the old pile of shame.
You are a gateway into like Japanese developed games generally.
How did
aren't
this
you?
happen?
No, how did
it happen?
There's a quirky niche to what their style of games that fits what you love in that kind.
I really am though. I've become that guy that is like,
You know what it was? Zero Time Dilemma.
it really was. And like before that, like I'd played 999 and I'd played like the first two, but that was the one where I was like, I'm going to go hard. I'd only played those because I'd heard they were great.
Yeah.
And then I played that. And now I play all the ones that aren't even good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I am...
Like Paradise Killer.
Am I a weeb? Shut up.
I think you're a weeb.
Am I a weeb? I think you're a weeb. I don't watch anime because anime sucks, but I watch the good anime, but most anime sucks.
You're a Celine weeb.
A weeb is it's generally a man, but it's a person who is not Japanese, but obsessed with Japanese culture.
What is that? Is it a Japanese word? It doesn't sound like a Japanese word.
I don't think it's a Japanese word.
Is it an acronym for like white?
No.
English?
I don't believe so. Someone will tell us. But I don't think I'm a weeb because I'm not obsessed with Japanese culture. And I don't wish that I was Japanese. Like, I'm not like, oh God, I wish I was born in Japan. Like,
People say weeaboo.
I like weird Japanese games. That's it.
It's short for weeaboo.
Weeaboo?
What's that?
There you go.
What does that mean?
Is that a Japanese word?
Want to be a boo? I don't know.
It's a reference to a
Japanese
classic
insult.
Perry Bible Fellowship comic weeaboo.
Okay.
There you go.
You are a weeb, apparently.
Like
according to
Gaijin.
Vexia.
I'm not a weeb. God damn it.
Next week.
Shut up, weeb.
Yeah, this is what weebs would say, isn't it? Weebs would probably say konnichiwa, right?
Sure.
They would just speak in Japanese and not really know what to do with it.
I guess I'm a little weeb because playing Persona 5, like, I'm loving how much of it is I'm living my best Japan Tokyo life at the moment. So, yeah.
And you have a samurai sword that you bring to work every day.
That's true. That's true.
I'm awesome.
All right, cool.
Second round.
Second round.
Oh my God, is Good Game back? No, Back Pocket is. Watch it.
Who is this guy? Who is
Like
this
it.
person?
There's Jaden 135790.
How fortuitous that I'm wearing my good game
Yeah,
t-shirt
totally.
today.
That's probably what threw it. It's like, what the hell? My second pick of a game, we are currently going through a list of pile of shame games that we are going to play this year and shave them off the list, hence the name of the segment, Shame Shave. Shave Shame?
Shame shave.
Shame Shave. You made the graphic.
It's Shame Shave.
Baby!
But you laughing, that's the most disturbing
Can we
part.
also bring to attention the fact that it is sponsored by Reese, whose logo is yet to be completed, as you'll note from the under construction paper still over your logo. Terribly sorry, that'll be done for next week.
You've got
humble
other shit on,
apologies.
mate.
I didn't actually. Sorry, I did not shout out that it's sponsored by Red.
No, that's all
very
good.
important. I think we got distracted.
Saw it
with
again.
Seeing it again.
There was a very distracting element that was there.
Yeah.
The second game on my list is less for me and more for Nicky Boy over here.
Ooh.
Because I tried playing this game once, I put it down, I heard so many good things about it.
Clapping.
I was clapping.
You do it a lot, actually.
I do.
You're clapping right next to the mic.
Just saying.
That was so fucking cutting.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. The game I'm going to play is Outer Wilds. Steph, what's your second game? No. This is a game which I started after you said I would love this game. And I dove into it. It was, I think it's on Xbox Game Pass, so I was like, great. I'll check it out. And I enjoyed how hands-off the beginning of the game was in terms of like, hey, you've got to work out what's happening here yourself. Something I really respect in games. I think I took a giant misstep at the beginning. I think I missed a glaring kind of like direction or sort of idea of what I was meant to be doing. And I went to...
Do you want to talk through it now?
Yeah, sure. Really quickly, basically the idea is the planet, the universe is about to be destroyed, and you play in a kind of Groundhog Day loop situation where every time the sun expands and the universe is all eaten up, you start again. But there are things you can do each time around that can maybe affect that.
And you retain knowledge.
You
but
retain-
not items or anything.
Yeah, knowledge that then you can use for puzzles that then help you slowly and gradually stop this happening. The cool idea is that you're also navigating these planets in a very small solar system using cool little like design and sound and music and all this kind of stuff to navigate, which I found particularly tricky. And the first thing I did was kind of just wing it, and I went to a planet that was like a giant stormy planet and the water that suddenly disappeared halfway through, and I found myself stuck in the...
We did the same thing.
I was stuck like underneath the world and I couldn't get out, and it felt really janky and it felt like I'd broken the game.
I actually think a lot of people went, because I went to that one first. I think a lot of people did. I think it's because it looks like the most planety planet.
Sure.
The rest of them are like
Rocks.
I don't want to wreck any surprise, but the rest of them, you look at them and you go, there's something fucked up happening.
And I just, it really just made me go, I don't get it. I don't understand what I'm meant to be doing. And usually that's a mystery I like to unravel, but when I was hit with this sort of frustrating level of platforming combined with just like, it wasn't helping me out of there, it wasn't telling me what I was doing wrong, I walked away from it. And I regret that because I've heard so many people say so many wonderful things about it, and I do love the broader design themes that are there's so many cool things about it in terms of the way you navigate, the way the game's been designed, the way it uses sound, and just some great storytelling from all the things I've heard, and I just experienced none of it. So I think I need a clean restart. I didn't get far through it, and I will play it maybe on stream or something so people can talk me through maybe what I'm doing wrong.
Nicrotech says it's Majora's Mask in space.
Well, there you go. Like, love that game, and I love the idea of that Groundhog Day loop and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I don't imagine it's a huge game either. Like, could be tackled in...
No, I mean, no, it's not. I think for me, it was probably like 10 to 15 hours. I can't quite remember. Like,
solid, yeah.
Yeah, it might have been less than that. It's not like a 20-hour game.
But you raved about it. You said it was like one of the best games you've played.
How much do you want me to put your expectations somewhere where they can never possibly be met? You can either block your ears now or just like be witness to this like absolute
I think you've said it already to me once before.
This is like potentially the greatest fucking video game ever made.
Yeah.
It is. The more I think about this game, the more in love. Steph has chewed out so completely. The more I am just so in awe of what this game accomplishes.
Sure.
The story is phenomenal. The discovery, because I did exactly the same thing as you. I went to Giants Deep. I was like, what the fuck is going on? And I got angry with the game and gave up. I then went back to it. And I think the key is you have to acknowledge the first 2 to 3 hours, which is a long time, you will just not know what's going on and it will be frustrating. And I think you kind of just need to embrace that that's the case. And the best way to solve that problem is to go, okay, whatever's happening here, all right, and then go to a different planet and go somewhere else, because all the things speak to each other. And there are moments in this game where you appear in an area. It's like that. It's like when you play the first time you play Dark Souls and you like drop that ladder and you realize you're back at the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
It is stuff like that where you just go, oh my God.
Things slide into place.
The whole reason that this thing is happening on this planet is because of this thing happening over here. And oh my God. The music I still listen to. I listen to the soundtrack nearly every week. It makes me cry when I listen to it. It is just the greatest. Yeah. It is my favorite. I think it's my favorite video game experience I've ever had. And I am so happy that you are willing to give it another go, because I just think that like, I cannot.
That's a big part of why I want to go back to it, because I do remember that sort of absolute passion you had for it, and I was like, they're things I really love when I find them in games. And you're right, those sort of it's a sense that washes over you that you go like, oh, I've never really found that in another game, or the ones that follow the rule book so strongly.
It's just so special. It's just like you just go like, right, this is really like not like something I've played before. This is very special. Make sure that once it gets its hooks into you, if it does, you have to continue playing, because it's even worse than Ori in terms of like,
oh shit,
if you stop and you leave it like a couple of weeks, you'll go like, oh, I literally have no idea what's going on.
Fair enough. No, look, it's one I want to get through in a sort of push through it over a weekend and a week and just keep coming back to it.
How long is it?
Hi, welcome to the show. Roughly
it's
10,
like
maybe
10 hours, 10 to 15 hours. Yeah, we did. We had a pretty big conversation about that.
So that's my... Steph?
This segment is it's about the games that are on our pile of shame that we want to...
You were on a show called... No, sorry.
Sometimes I tune out and sometimes I can't.
You did it beautifully. You did this. Like literally what actors do to show themselves bored.
I'm still listening sometimes when I do that.
Amazing.
I just don't have a great attention span, but but sometimes when you say things, it makes me think of something else and then I go somewhere else.
Look, I'm not judging you at
Your
all.
Honor?
It's just you pick the greatest times to ask those questions.
Yeah.
You always pick it when everyone's quiet.
Yeah. When in doubt, don't ask the question. It's already been asked.
I also have certain responses that I have like as a go-to, like when I don't know what people are talking about, and they're like, "Don't you agree?" And I go, "Yeah." And then people are like, "But that's horrible."
But he was let loose after the charges were laid.
And I'm like, "That's what I meant."
Yeah, it's
you're
bad.
And
right.
it's like you roll a dice, but sometimes it wins, and they're like, "I'm glad you're on board." And I'm like, "Mm-hmm."
Can't wait for you to
God.
help me next week move. What? Steph, your mystery game. No, I know, it's not a mystery.
It's a mystery. It's just that I've never admitted this to anyone because it's like it's very shameful. Like as a gamer, very shameful.
We agreed that we don't believe in that, even though this segment is called Shame Shave.
Yeah. But like through all my years of like being in video games, this is not something I've ever publicly admitted.
Wow, okay.
So this is like
You're going to get no
thing.
judgment here.
I've never touched Minecraft.
Can I just say that the clip has a great reveal of what this is?
Okay,
So if you
right.
want-
So
I'll-
maybe
I'll-
I just won't say it and just
Do you wanna-
just know that this was like
It's chess, isn't it? It's
just
multi-player.
know that this was like I was late to get into gaming and
It's so incredible.
and then when
Just know I was late to get into video games, okay? It's not my fault.
And then by the time I was playing games, this just was like was not on my zeitgeist, and then it was kind of like too late, and then everyone would always talk about it. I was like,
So
yeah,
Bobo Gaggle says the whole world is watching.
God.
all right, just
All right,
Play the clip.
Yep.
fuck. It's like
Get the fuck out.
It's. Oh, snap.
Hey, Steph. I've never played this game either.
Fuck off.
Yeah, no, never will.
Really?
Yeah.
oh my gosh.
Oh, wow. I've
so
played it
funny.
3 times all the way
I've seen
through.
like so many like memes and stuff about this game and people talking about it. I feel like I've participated in conversations where everyone's talking about it and then I'm like, you know, like
The gravity gun.
Ravenswood.
He never talks.
Amazing.
like
Oh.
Misa, and there's like references to that in Portal and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh yes, of course, because Orange Box and that whole thing, right, guys?
Oh, wow.
Steph, 90% of the chat,
Ravenholm. Damn it, I got it wrong.
90% of the chat have not played it either.
90% of the chat like 15.
So it's like I don't even particularly want to play this, but I just feel like I feel compelled to play it just to be able to get a sense. I understand it's old, but like I feel like I need to just understand its importance in the sort of zeitgeist of
Super jealous because it holds up.
It totally does.
Fuck
Yeah.
you, Peter.
I knew that would make people angry.
It was one of those games that was ahead of its
Sorry,
time.
not I'm older than all of you.
It was so ahead of its time that I think it holds up just on such like good storytelling and clean direction and fun mechanics being introduced in a shooter. Like, yeah, you will not have a problem playing through it. I think I'm gonna guess there's possibly some really easy to access mods and things just to improve
make it a bit
of
better.
lighting and stuff.
Yeah.
But like, it's one of those games that as you play it, you sort of stop paying attention to the graphic fidelity of it because it has really great sort of character design, voice work, lip sync, like environmental.
It's also the
design.
source engine physics that were like they that's what the basis of all physics in games still is like, look what they fucking did with that engine where a barrel can roll.
Yeah.
Question.
Go for it.
When was the last time you played this game?
Probably about 5 or 6 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I guess it would be like...
Why did you play it again?
I played it 3 times. I think I played it once on PC for the first time, and then I played it in the Orange Box because I had an Xbox, and then I played it again on PC to see if it was still fun, and I ended up playing the whole thing again. That was
Right,
5
okay.
years ago.
Yeah, I think I remember you actually
yeah.
telling me that. Because, yeah, that was my question. Like, does it hold up now? Because it's like, if I looked at the physics system now, I imagine I would be like, yes, that's in every video game.
Yeah.
Like, none of this is revolutionary. But at the time, it's like, what the fuck is going on?
I think another thing about it at the time as well was that like shooters were the only video games. Like there was Tetris.
Yeah.
And there were shooters.
No, but there was like, and you're right, there was like Quake Arena, Unreal Tournament, and all these other kind of like shooters.
They were the
that
games, man. Doom and stuff. And Half-Life 2 was like games can have actual stories. Every game had a story, but this like told a story in a way that was just really effective.
Yeah.
I mean, Half-Life 1 did to an extent as well.
Oh, but it was still basing itself as a run-and-gun shooter first with some fun story elements. They've realised what they were cracking into here with this, and just they tell such a, strong narrative. And
Are you going to play the first one?
don't.
Probably not.
Don't. I tried. I got like 3/4 of the way through
When
it.
I was kind of researching, like, is it okay to play Half-Life 2 if you haven't played Half-Life 1? People were just like, skip it, it's not worth it.
They totally designed this game around the idea of telling a wholly unique story. Like, there's a few moments where they're like, oh, you remember that thing that happened back then? But even then they say it like, we don't really talk about that, almost. Like, it's still a great game, the first one, I'm sure, by the standards of when it was made. But this one holds up, I would say, as an entirely, a game entirely on its own. And the best thing is when you finish it, you can play episode
1 and 2.
1 and 2, which are these great...
And hang out for episode 3.
And then hang out for episode 3. But they are also fantastic, and they like lean really heavy on the characters that you've got to know and love in this. And yeah, I would say the best moments in this game aren't this thing that you're seeing right now. They are these like puzzle areas you run into, which you suddenly realize...
Wait, you're saying this isn't the best moment in this video game?
No, I'm saying the story cutscene stuff. It's like you'll find yourself doing a puzzle in between a shooting section, but not really feeling like the game's gone, it's puzzle time now. And it's combat time now. Like, they blend them really seamlessly together. So,
And then if you really like it, you can play Half-Life Alex.
Yeah.
yeah.
I could.
But it's
Cool.
great. Play it on super easy. Don't worry about I would say don't worry about it being a challenging shooter. It's more of just an experience, a really good world builder.
There you go. Only 41% of people have played it.
There you go.
There you go. I feel better.
Yeah, that's a good pick. That's a good pick.
I wanted to pick some old and some new because
Yeah.
there were so many new games that I hadn't played that felt like uninteresting to talk about if I was like focusing on those, but I feel like one of each. And this one was like funny, and it's funny to talk about it now because I've been like holding it as a dark secret.
That's so good. That little knot inside of you can just like unravel. Peter, what's your shameful secret?
I have no shame about this. In fact, I'm certain that I will fucking hate it, but I will play it. And it is a Kingdom Hearts game. Probably 3, maybe 2. I think we can all agree that Final Fantasy is an awful series. Kingdom Hearts is Final Fantasy with Disney shit in it.
Liking our videos.
Which is
trolling this
awful.
segment?
Why do you do this, Peter?
No, I'm not trolling this segment. I do.
This is not a Pete game. What are you doing, Pete?
I don't like Final Fantasy. Every now and then I play a JRPG like a Final Fantasy just to get a taste of it. I liked Lost Odyssey, and you know I dabble, and I just never finish them because I don't enjoy them. And Kingdom Hearts is this thing that's got this extra layer of just cheese bullshit on it, like Rapunzel and stuff. Because I want to
hate it knowing that I hate it.
Yes, that's
Knowing
totally
he
right.
was right when he said I wouldn't like that game. That's a bad shame pile,
No,
Peter.
it's not though. Because
No,
these are
this
key.
is an iconic game as well.
Yeah,
like I feel like
It's also like saying that, it's like people who shit on a movie without having seen it.
Yeah. It's like, I've read the Bible. That's why I hate it. And that's why I want to play Kingdom Hearts 2 or 3. And I've kind of polled the chat once or twice on like if 2 or 3 is worth playing.
I've only played I've played a bunch of DS versions of
Sure.
Kingdom Hearts, and I hated them all. Are the console-y kind of ones better?
nope, bad series, or every single one of them.
Okay.
So
you know
much
the
fun doing that.
tutorial
Yeah.
for Kingdom Hearts 3 is an hour and a half.
Don't tell me. Don't tell me. I don't care. I'm going to play it.
You know what just pisses me off so much about this choice? There is a game that you haven't played that is one of the best games to come out in the last 10 years that I know you will love.
But I've played it and I don't like it.
But you haven't given it a proper go.
What are you talking about?
He hasn't played Bloodborne.
Fuck you, Peter.
And Bloodborne is sitting there waiting to be played, waiting to be
waiting to be appreciated by Peter, someone who knows the Souls games, someone who
so well,
maybe
so
didn't find
intimately.
that original playthrough as engaging as and that's fine, and didn't realize there was so
ugly
much more of
gothic
that game
shit.
that he would.
Instead, you want to fucking throw Rapunzel's hair across a tree so you can cross a gap to land in a cutscene.
Peter has the best I don't care face in the world.
I just don't give a shit.
I just want it all the time.
Bloodborne is I'm sure another good Souls game, but for me, it didn't do what I like about Souls games. Anyway, Kingdom Hearts. There's a poll going in the chat. Which one should I play? I'm keen.
So, do you want to know the results so far?
Yeah.
1 is on 24%.
Yep.
2 is on 59%, and 3 is 19%.
Okay. Well, I'm never going to play 1. I might. It's between 2 and 3 for me. And I don't think
3 came out quite recently, didn't it?
Like 4 years ago.
Oh,
5?
No.
2 years ago?
2 years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought we saw it at E3.
I remember when I was at Good
did.
Games.
I guess that
it was
was
like everyone was
3,
waiting
4
for
years
Kingdom
It was
Hearts
2019.
3.
Out then, yeah. Okay.
And everyone was waiting for Kingdom Hearts 3, and they kept bringing out these like
Playable
3 fight
sections,
days.
I mean, I would
Over
say,
two and
and
stuff.
it's you putting yourself through your own funeral, but I would say Kingdom Hearts 3 because at least it has the most updated and modern references
yeah.
when it comes to all the like Disney.
I think that's where I'll land, like because I've seen Rapunzel and like Tangled. Sorry,
because it looks
Tangled.
amazing. Like when they put those characters in the world and
It looks like you're in the film.
it's great.
But I like that
Especially if it was in a better game.
I like that Pete had a poll and then went like, fuck that poll as well.
That's my bit.
That's your bit.
I'll do 2 or 3. 49% say 2. I'll look at 2. Dolphin Pants, Pete, why no 1? Because I know it's going to be a bad game and I don't want to play an old bad game. I want to play a new bad game.
Just don't play bad game, play good game.
Play Bloodborne. Great game.
I like his choices. This is a fun segment because we're all choosing different and unexpected stuff.
This is wild.
Can't wait not to play any of them.
All right. I cannot wait because we also said, and you can't hold us to this, but we did say that we might try and stream some of these.
Yeah.
And there's no promise whatsoever.
But a good thing about streaming a game is sometimes it sets you up to be like, well, I need to come back to this.
Yeah. That's how you get through shit.
I will say,
I sleep. I totally
if
play Dead by Sleep.
if I play a Kingdom Hearts game, I'm going to stream it because no other fucking way to play that by myself.
You don't want someone to walk in and go, what's Peter doing? Nothing!
There's no way I'm going to boot that game up when I'm sitting at home by myself.
So my final pick, I thought I had it, and I do have it, but also it's potentially in flux. And I thought of it.
Influenced you?
No, but I want you to, because what I thought it would be, and it was so hard to pick the second one. There's so many games I haven't played, but there are so many games where I'm just like, I don't want it. I had your
I
thing
had all
where
those
I'm like,
ones in there too, like Rise of the Tomb Raider. Never played it. Loved the first one. I was like, no, I'm not going to play
it's that level of like, do I want to play it just because I want to play it? Like, I hear it's fine. And then there's your thing of like, it's Half-Life. Like, do I need to have played this? So where I landed was a game that has niggled at me for ages. I've had Resident Evil 7, which I've spoken a lot about, but I felt it wasn't fair to put that on here because I've spoken about that tons. We spoke about my current choice a couple of days ago, and it is Prey.
Ooh.
Yeah, nice.
So I played the first hour of Prey, and I loved the first hour of Prey. I hear people constantly talking about how good Prey is, and
Did we do a video on it for something? Did we? Is that?
I think this would have been after.
It might be after Pocket, but at screenplay or something.
Had Steph and I single-handedly ruined Good Game by leaving at that point? 2017, yes, we have. So it came out. Yeah, it came out 2017, so we didn't do anything together. Yeah. It's always been something that's been sitting there, and I've wanted to do that. But
You've got another one up in there.
I do, and
the good thing about this is like it's like got Bioshocky vibes and like
totally
great story, eerie setting, cool mechanics, interesting way to develop enemies. And
horror game, which I'm trying to tick a little bit off on my list.
Horror with some fun.
It's
action
horror,
totally. All this kind of stuff.
And
they turn into objects.
Creepy
so you run into a room and they're a chair, and suddenly
like it could turn into just a coffee mug, and then you turn around and you're like, wait, was that box there before?
I remember.
Yeah,
but then you can turn into items to move through puzzles.
I'm very excited. So
I want to watch you play this.
So this could be the pick. The other option is a game that I've constantly tried to play, and I desperately want to play, and I should have played. It's Dark Souls 2. And Dark Souls 1 is up there with Outer Wilds as being like one of my favorite experiences of all time. I really enjoyed Dark Souls 3. I adore Bloodborne, and Sekiro's pretty good.
Yeah.
But
Suppose this is your Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I was like, this is a boring pick, but I chose something boring for me.
thank you, Steph. But the
backhand.
But I think the reason is that like Pete loves Dark Souls 2.
Yeah, I do. I like one
way though. Like
I think 2 is where
you run through naked in those games.
Yeah.
yeah. Like 2, I was speedrunning 1 and 2. 2 and 3. I got to under 2 hours for those games, so I played them. I didn't play them a lot. I speed ran them a lot. 1 is brilliant because it's new and the way that the world is designed is really incredible. 3, I think, is
a remix of 1.
It's a remix of 1, but I don't find it as memorable, even though I played a lot. I think
Totally.
it has some of the best boss fights in Souls, but also it's like, but most of it isn't, like the princes and stuff that, like these really cool, beautiful things. But 2 for me just had 2 felt the most action. It wasn't the best designed world, but there's some fun boss fights. There's some
cool areas.
There's some repeat boss fights, and there's cool areas that are kind of disconnected.
Well, that's actually what threw me. I've tried to play it twice. The 2 things that have thrown me off. One is all the sort of disconnected areas where you go back to that hub thing, and I felt very much like it was a little too unguided for me. I was like, where should I be going here?
So have you played 1 and 3?
I played 1, 3, 3, Bloodborne, and Sekiro. Like, this is the only one on the list that I haven't...
So random that you just went from 1 to 3. Or did you go to 3?
I started on 3, and then I went back to 1.
And having a go for not playing the second in the series.
Careful. But then the other thing is that every time, like when you die, you get health chunked off your health bar, and I'm just like, what are you doing, video game?
Yeah.
Like, come on.
It's only down to half health. You don't go on half health.
But so I don't know. I saw people that split. There's a poll right now. What are we sitting on? Prey is on 80%. People split saying like it's a boring pick, like Steph said, and that. But I love the Souls series so much that I'm like, oh, this is one I really want to see this. It means that some of my favorite type of video game in one of my favorite video game series. There's a whole game there sitting there that I haven't played, but at the same time, I keep trying to play it and keep just falling off it. Is there something that's there trying to tell me?
It's weird. It's like I have a lot of good memories of this game. I think we were playing it in tandem at the same time. I love 1. I find 3 a little hard to remember. I must have just pushed through it just to say I've finished it. But 2, I went back and ran around a lot of the areas again and really enjoyed, and very quickly got over that disconnect. I was like, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Bonfire back. You don't interconnect like a giant beautiful world. But yeah, the action and the bosses and some of these kind of surprise areas. There are some dull areas like there are in every Dark Souls game, but yeah, I was surprised that I was happy to forgive that disconnection and enjoy it. But maybe we were just really pumped for a sequel to it.
We have a lot of like, I think I got good at Souls games in Dark Souls 2, whereas I got through Dark Souls 1. And I went back and played Dark Souls 1 heaps after I got good at Dark Souls.
Yeah.
But we also played this on Xbox 360 before it came out, because we had that benefit when we're working a good game. We got sent code, and we all went around to Steven's house with consoles. There were 4 of us on beanbags playing all night, just trying to finish Dark Souls before it came out, like 48 hours later or something. So we had this weekend of playing it, and we beat it. We cheesed a boss that has none of us could work out the puzzle of the boss. It was kind of a point where we're all racing through it, got stuck at this point where it's like this boss fight. And I will spoil it for you because it's a very old game. There's a boss fight in a pool of poison, and we were like, how the fuck do you fight this thing? There's a lever around the corner to drain the pool.
Poison.
We never found it. So we were fighting this thing, chewing mushrooms, so we had more poison resistance and potting. And basically it was like, don't get hit, because you're only potting to get your health back from the poison damage you're taking. So we were just like...
Is it a frog? It's like a big frog.
That's Medusa, basically.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I remember you constantly talking about this game, and that's part of the reason. I think that I will probably go with Prey, but I still want to play Dark Souls 2. I feel like Prey's probably more accomplishable as well. Dark Souls 2 is long.
Yeah. Light the windmill on fire.
Yeah. You take a torch and light a piece of timber on fire, and the mill that's pumping the poison.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So, cool. Okay, well then, chat, you have swayed me. Prey is the pick. I think it's a strong pick.
I think it's the more interesting pick.
It is the more interesting pick. Yeah. So to recap, our shame shaving for 2021. Ori and the Will and the Wisps, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, God of War, the 2018 version, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Outer Wilds, Half-Life 2, Kingdom Hearts, one of them, and Prey. This is a good list.
It's a great list.
It's a good list of games. We will be streaming some of these games over the course of the year. We're not going to tell you when. It's just going to happen. Just like this break.
bucket. Coffee. Buck.
That's popping up in the main show. It'll pop up possibly in some backplays. The idea is that it will circulate as part of our media and part of your representation and something fun that we can always have to smile at when we see.
Pete, give him a single. Listen, you piece of shit.
What the fuck was in that?
The fuck, man.
I had a good-ish time watching this, and I liked a lot of what was there.
Last 3 hours. Jesus Christ.
Look at this
I
stuff.
think you're a 3.
Isn't it neat?
If you don't enjoy the Snyder Cut, you can blame it on Steph.
LokiCat wants you to think he's a good-looking man who wistfully looks off into the distance at weddings. But what is he hiding? Not only is he not the Norse god of mischief and the rightful heir of Jotunheim, he's not even a real cat. He was born a boy. But now that boy's all grown up, and that overgrown boy loves birds.
The man likes his cockatiels.
But does he love those birds too much?
This man sleeps with birds.
And cockatiels aren't the only Australian icon he's tried to fuck.
Those are flamin' pros!
Is this flamin' galah who you want in charge of the country if he ever decided to run for political office? LokiCat. When you head to the polls this weekend, make this 9th life his last. Authorised and paid for by Nick Boy Richardson.
Welcome back, and a big thank you to James Klumps, LokiCat, and Noel Barrot for your words from our sponsors and your patronage to our show. We love making those commercials for you, and more importantly, we love when you make those commercials for us, don't we, Gus?
Yeah, we do. And we're running a little short still. Like we always have been. But I think like in a way that we need a way to maybe promote you guys to make something for us. So we were thinking... What if we all
What were we thinking?
We were thinking, what if we each supplied a word?
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I thought it was going to be more dramatic than that, but sure, that's a
Okay.
good idea too.
Half-Life 2.
No, you weren't even done it. If we each said a word,
Yep.
and if you guys want to take that word, make a video about it, make a small clip about it, use that word, use it yourself, use us saying it, do what you want with us. That's
One of
what I
my
always say.
beautiful leather journals is just full of words that I like.
Oh, delightful.
Nick Cave had a word journal as well.
There you go. So why don't we each, in our best ASMR impersonation,
Very Steph.
it so is, leather journal can be your word.
No.
God. I love you. One of my beautiful leather journals is just filled with words that I love. Is the name of my album of Bjork covers.
What? That was a suggestion.
Mel Wayne H, which I think is Mel and Wayne, surname H. Hubby and I are working on ours.
Great.
And thank you very much for the gift subs you sent earlier as well. And Andrew H as well sent a bunch of gift subs.
Absolutely.
Yes, 10.
The H,
10,
the H
Andrew.
peeps are killing it.
Amazing.
Love it.
Should I just say the first word that comes to my head?
Sure.
Siphon.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Cool. All right. Masticate.
I see what he
That word one more time. Masticate. Why'd you get to him?
Did you click at the end?
No, I went.
We got it once. I didn't want to.
I wanted to like lick my lips like
see that tiny mouth.
tiny.
My word is...
Why? Why the fuck are you here now? Damn it, Pete. You really rubbed me the wrong way tonight, Peter.
I have so much fun.
5 years.
My word is alchemy.
It always. I need to hear it twice, like it's on one of those Google apps. Alchemy. Alchemy. Sorry, I stole your word. I'm fucking bad. I'm on cold medicine. Give me a break. Peter, do you have a word?
Haberdashery.
Oh, that's a good one.
That is a good one.
No one's going to want to make a word.
There's so many syllables, though. You can do whatever you want with it.
Just take a picture of your favorite hat and then step on it. All right, there you go.
Now you've got no excuse.
You've got literally no excuse. Oh, sorry,
go
Will. Yeah, you want one.
Ooh.
I can't fucking say. I tried. I aimed high.
Oh, I want to hug him.
I aimed so high.
Was that the bit? Was that a bit?
It wasn't.
He flew
too close to the sun.
Go again.
Anachronism.
Was that it?
Yeah, that's the real word.
Okay.
I have those words that I can't say though.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, but you don't. But you can't not say them when there's a camera pointing at you. It's the only word you have to say.
I thought
while
about
writing
it,
on
And
the
it could have
phone.
been any word.
Well, I was going to say chrysanthemum,
It could have been it.
but I can't say chrysanthemum.
It wasn't.
It was Chrysanthemum.
Chrysanthemum.
Yeah.
No, I swallow the note. Mm.
All right. Moving on quickly. And Peter, talk to me about.
Yeah, you saw in the ad break all of the Justice League, the excellent trailer that Will cut. We can forgive him for fumbling over his words because he's a master editor.
He never fumbles an edit.
Never fumbles an edit. Sometimes, but not usually.
Well, to be fair, he needed to recut one 10 minutes before we went live.
He did his own Snyder cut.
God bless
he did his
him.
Will Yates cut.
I'm not throwing you under the bus, Will. That wasn't your fault.
True.
Yeah,
It was
no,
a Will
not at all.
Yates cut.
Yes, we did. We've done we've made more hours of content than the Snyder Cut of Justice League.
Yep.
About the Snyder Justice League, and that's because on Saturday night, Nick, Steph, and I watched the Justice League Snyder Cut on the binge version. The Australian version runtime is 3 hours and 52 minutes. We watched all 3 hours and 52 minutes of that with a timer. So you can watch along. We basically provided DVD director commentary, except thank Christ we didn't have to hear more from the actual director of the film. He got his say. So if you're a patron, you can go to patreon.com/backpocket, and that is there now.
Yep.
So you can watch that video on YouTube. You can queue it up. The timer's on screen the whole time, so you can make sure you're synced up with your film. So if you haven't watched Justice League Snyder Cut and you feel like you have to but don't want to, maybe a fun way to do that is to time up our watch through as well, so you can like get a little bit of extra fluff and find out what shirt Steph bought. in that 3 hours and 52
Sync
minutes.
up your Snyder cut.
And then, of course, all of that was because we wanted to... we love Pocket Watch, our podcast about film and TV. We did a series on WandaVision, which Steph led, which wrapped up at the end of the WandaVision series on Disney+. We had a lot of fun watching that, and we are going to keep Pocket Watch going. And the first thing off the rank after that WandaVision was the Zack Snyder Justice League. We were like, we have to do it. So we had to watch it. So you can watch or listen to the Pocket Watch of the Snyder Cut of Justice League on any podcasting app, basically all the big ones, or watch it on YouTube. It is there now.
So there is the watch along thing that we did, and then there's the Pocket Watch where we just share our thoughts and stuff. Two separate things. Yeah.
Watch along with us for 3 hours and 52 minutes, or get the hour summation of our kind of critique of the film.
And the Pocket Watches and the future ones we're doing, they're all up on podcasts and YouTube. The watch-alongs, if we do more of them in the future with some other films and shows and stuff like that, they're all Patreon only. So as Pete said, head to the Patreon site, and they're all there to watch exclusive for patrons as well.
I'm so excited to do more of those.
That'd be fun.
Because I'm excited to like share some things that I feel like maybe you guys haven't seen, but like are really kind of fun and weird.
I'm sad I missed out on it, and apparently you missed out on some of it too.
I mean, Come on.
Of all things,
Come on.
you picked the right film.
Yeah. No.
Also, like my attention can only hold on any one thing for so long.
If you want to check out that podcast, then head to backpocket.gg. Peter, you know what dropped while we're recording?
Yeah, Dota.
Dota Dragon's Blood.
Yeah. Oh.
So there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. You guys are onto that straight away.
We're going to do something with that.
Yeah.
Now then, before I move on to that, the other thing I want to say, there's a great review of our Snyder Cut pocket watch.
Lovely.
Oh, great.
From Monol Patel, who just said, lot of terrible takes in a single video.
I assume they're talking about Zack Snyder's.
Zack Snyder's, yeah.
Yeah,
There's a lot of really
Yeah.
poor takes.
There were 4 hours to have bad takes, and he had a lot of them.
I just liked in the video, we're like, hey, let us know what your thoughts are. They're like, no, I'm not here for that. Now, the other thing we wanted to announce is, you know what? I haven't actually. Pete, can you cut to something and cut our mics for 5-10 seconds?
Yes.
What?
I'm going
You
to.
can just cut to my.
Okay, get ready to answer a question that I ask you really quickly.
Oh, yeah, let's go to Gus's single and cut the mics. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
cutting the mics.
Okay. So I was actually listening to them both discuss that in front of me.
Excellent. So the thing we wanted to announce is that we're
4 hours of this.
we're doing a slight rejig of some of the content that you're going to be seeing from Back Pocket. The first thing is we're cancelling the Thursday show that you're watching now. No, we're not.
Thanks,
we're not.
Raj.
It's totally fine. It's totally
That
fine.
is not what we agreed on.
Don't even joke about it.
Totally fine. Everything is fine. What we want to do is we want to be.
Fuck you!
You broken it out of the bat.
What we want to do is focus more on the content that A, we're enjoying making, B, you're enjoying watching, and C, is helping us grow. And so the first casualty.
You're going to have to start with that. Start with the thing.
No, start with the casualty.
Start with
Casualty.
we
Go.
got
Band-Aid off, band-Aid off, band-Aid off.
Is, and it hurts us probably more than you guys, because we like watching this more than anyone else,
Yeah.
is we are going to be stopping, for the most part, the playbacks. So the playback videos, which come out once a week on Tuesdays on YouTube, are a series that are so much fun to make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So much fun to make.
And we've all had our moments making them as well. That's what's
best.
been the nicest part about them this year as well.
Yeah.
It's like we've all had a little...
And I can tell you the justification for it. It's that a ton of work goes into these things. Like, it is days of work. It's like, obviously the record, the edit is like a couple of days worth of work. It's a lot of time for us to put onto our YouTube channel, which is a platform that we're not really focusing on. That everything else we do is live streamed. And so making those videos for, even though we love making them for you, it's like, if it was something that only took half a day, we would totally keep doing it. But the fact that it takes multiple days just chews up too much time when we could be doing other things. So that's the reason that we've decided that these ones go. They may come back in the future if there's a world where, like, oh, more time, whatever. But because we love doing them so much, and we think that we make some of the funniest stuff comes out of them.
Yeah.
And it's really sad that we need to cut them, right?
Yeah, it's what we have grown up with.
Yeah.
Like, in terms of how we in particular, the two
It's
of us
what,
have
like,
made content together.
Pocket
Yeah.
found itself in those. Yeah.
But you're right, it does come from a more television production background in terms of, that's more traditional in terms of it's shot, it's edited, it's approved, it goes through those processes, which is for what we're trying to make and what we want Back Pocket to be, is a lot more engagement with you guys, a lot more.
Pain Gamer says, yeah, but why finish with Super?
We're not.
we're not.
Yeah, no.
That's a good point.
That was the issue.
We're not finishing with Super Studios, so we will close out the At Dead of Night series with me and Pete.
Yep.
So that will be, you'll see a couple more episodes of that. That will be the end of the playback series for now. Super Seducer is not the note we're going out on.
Can you imagine?
Taste in the mouth. But I'm really sorry to everyone because I know a lot of people are really disappointed about this. So yes, the playback's not continuing. What are we going to do instead? Well, we are in the middle of figuring that out, but we wanted to experiment with something that we have wanted to do for quite a long time. And I know that you guys, I think that you guys will probably like this as well. We want to focus more on some streams because that's where we do everything else. And one of our favorite things to do is to get together and talk about video games. So what we thought we would try launching and see how it goes and how we feel about it and how you guys feel about it as well is a back pocket game club. Now, I know that there is a small one happening on the Discord as well, where some of you guys pick a game and play along and talk about it, and that's awesome, and that should continue. We love that. What we are going to do is we're going to pick a game for this next month. We're going to do multiple streams of that game where we finish that game on stream. It'll be a combination of, whoever wants to play it kind of the most is going to be doing it.
We're all going to play it,
yes,
to an extent, but obviously, as you said, there'll be someone maybe streaming it more than the others who will, I think, attempt in most cases to finish or play as much of that game as possible in that month.
Yeah, and then at the end of the month, we're going to do another show in here, which is kind of like this, about that game. And it's going to be like a book club where we talk about the experience with the game. We really go deep on it. We go really spoilery with it. We want to get you guys involved as well. We're still figuring out that format, but we really want to have you guys involved in that as much as possible. And we're kind of going to make that its own show once a month. There's this sort of wrap-up book club, game club thing about this game.
Because a big part of that is obviously getting you guys to play it as well. Like, if it's something that tickles your interest, you would play along at the same sort of cadence as us and watching the streams or just watching along as well. But the idea being is you can join in that show at the end of the month, whether it's, we have call-ins or we come up with ways to get opinions or you guys involved.
People were asking as well about if those streams will be uploaded to the YouTube channel as for ease of access as well. And the answer is yes, I believe.
Yeah, I think the Game Club ones probably will be. I think we're still, maybe the full streams, but maybe highlights of those streams.
Yeah.
What we want to do is kind of create what might get made for the end of month stream is a highlight of each stream that happened to see that game through to fruition. So we'll.
Will, do you want to get this one for him?
Anachronism.
Thank you, William. So that's probably the best way to package up all of that, hours and hours and hours and hours of things. They obviously will exist on Twitch for the month. Because we're partners, I think they sit up there for 6 weeks.
Yeah, right.
So those streams you'll be able to watch them after the fact and watch the chat happen along with it as well.
And actually the Twitch VOD stuff is actually pretty good. You can remember where you're up to and that sort of thing. So it's decent for what we'll be asking for it with this.
We're going to struggle not to want to edit stuff as well, I have a feeling. And so, with those streams, like you said, there's a good chance we'll take them and package them into little highlights, whether or not they're weekly with the streams or whether or not they are just Nick's camera angle.
Yeah, we're not sure.
Sorry.
We'll figure it out.
I was reading chat.
Hey. Whether or not, as Pete said, we might put them all together, but this is a proof of concept. And so I think we should really, it'll evolve as we go on.
Yeah, we're going to sort of really feel our way through this one. But the other thing to note about this is that these are going to be games that are coming out. These are going to be new games that come out. So we're not going to be looking at older games. We're going to be looking at, the new title that comes out. We're going to each month pick a game that we feel is appropriate, that we'll hopefully have enough to talk about, and that... and also it means that if you haven't played the game or can't play the game, you can actually watch us play the whole thing, so you can still have the opinions. You can still be involved with that. So, and then NWarb Mott, my God, says, do you have a new game in mind to start with? And we do.
We do.
Do we want to... Are we confirmed?
2?
It takes 2. Who's going to be playing it?
We are going to be playing it?
Yes. Are we confirmed? That seems like
this is all
very hesitant.
Raw.
No.
Yes,
I wasn't sure how much we were saying, but I'm excited to play it.
Yeah, cool.
In the same house because we live there together because we're husband and wife.
We what?
And so Gaz and I are going to be playing very alone together. But
It takes one.
yeah, so that will be the first game that we do next month. Those streams will either start next week or the week after. That's the one thing we're still not sure about. I say one thing. That's the 10 thing.
It's
one of the 10
it's
things.
called It Takes Two, the game. Lots of people saying they missed it in the chat.
Yeah. It takes.
And so, so that'll be the first one. And we're going to see how this goes. And we want to know what you guys think of it. But we think that this will tick the box of you'll get to see more streams, which I know a lot of people want, gameplay streams specifically.
And we're thinking multiples a week, like at this stage?
So we're thinking 2 a week at this stage. And then when there is, like, It Takes Two is like a 12-hour game. So there's going to be more streams than there are games. That's going to be the time that we fill it with other titles that we want to play, whether it's new stuff that comes out or
God of War.
that was expecting Kingdom Hearts, but sure. So we're gonna feel our way through this, but hopefully it should be good. And then at the end of each month, we'll do that show. So at the end of the year, you'll have 12 sort of like you will have had a book club style thing over 12 games. We'll have 12 special shows about those 12 games. Hopefully, all awesome games because we don't want to pick things that we don't think will be good.
Yeah.
And we're excited to do it. We're really excited for this. And
I'm excited to make a book club style game club logo that I then want to print onto a shiny gold sticker that feels like something either Oprah would give or your library teacher would give and be like, well done, you played this game. You finished. You get
a
this
friendly giant. No, was it Gentle Giant? What's a big friendly giant?
BFG.
BFG.
Zescreen asks, will the streams happen in the AM or PM?
So, the schedule, by doing this, we should be able to build a more structured schedule for streaming, which is something we've wanted to do forever. And it will mean more content, more streamed content. The other thing is that we will likely be dropping the Wednesday daily backup and making the Monday daily backup the key news show and do one news show a week and make that the catch-all and build that into more of a format, which will let us do probably Tuesday, Friday game streams on top, with the Thursday show staying where it is.
And I should say, sorry, because we hadn't announced that news thing. The reason for that is that at the moment, the news is a very fun thing that we're doing. Again, it's like, what is it serving? We're not doing it every day. We're doing it like twice a week at a weird cadence where it's like Monday and Wednesday because we couldn't do Thursday because it's like Thursday show day. And it's not catching all the news. It's catching some of the news, but it still needs to catch enough news that it justifies. Hence the boring news that Steph and I made very entertaining on Wednesday.
There wasn't a lot of news. But we can finally just call it the weekly backup.
No, it's backup.
Dolphin Pants, it's the even less somewhat daily backup.
Yeah, perfect.
Love it.
I also like
Oh my God.
I also like Reese Wild's The Day backup.
Good. And so we will be doing that most likely on Mondays, but we'll still figure that out. And it will be more like kind of what you know, slightly tweaked in some ways, but also still put out as a podcast. Probably also a podcast that makes a little more sense in terms of like, it will have a structure that is like every week it's coming out on this day and it's covering this week's worth of stuff and that sort of thing rather than like, oh, I get it on Monday, then another one on Wednesday and then a dry period until the next Monday. So we want to maintain that. But Pete, streams, times, AM, PM.
So AM, PM, we'll probably sort that based on who is streaming.
Yeah.
So we will share the load. Sometimes there'll be things we want to stream together in the backseat gaming kind of setup.
Yeah.
Other times there'll be like solo streams, and other times there will be the game club specific streams. So the lead on the game for that month will be streaming at least once a week for that month to finish that game for everyone to watch along. So more Will. There he is.
I need that in my life, just occasionally.
We expect that we'll be doing like 3 or 4 hour game streams when we do go live. Those streams for Nick might be during work hours in the middle of the day when his kids are out at school and actually makes sense in his life. And for me, that might be in the evenings because I prefer to do that after dinner, that kind of thing. But this is where we'll make sure there's a public schedule that you guys can see, and it makes it easy for you guys to follow along, and as well for us to keep to a schedule.
Yeah. And sorry,
No, I was going to say, I think we'll stick probably to those days. We'll be a little flexible about at what time that's going to be. I'm not sure if we're able to lock in direct times like we do with this show, but I think we'll try to give you guys a heads up on when what's happening that week. And so, you'll be able to gauge when we're going to stream based off that.
Yeah, and then and I'm also really excited about the idea that we'll be streaming this stuff, and like Pete said, sometimes it'll be solo. Like obviously, it has to be the two people for It Takes Two because it takes two. But yeah, I really like the idea of doing some of those backseat game things where like it doesn't even need to be all the time, but like sometimes like what Pete, Gus, and I did for the Medium, where like one of us can just drop by and watch someone else play the game and be like present and there for that. That for me is like I really love that sort of thing. So that sort of stuff will show up. So we'll just find what works best. And
it's going to evolve.
Yeah. But I think that I do think, and thankfully it seems like there's quite a lot of positivity in the chat about this, which we're very happy about.
I saw one person said 5 streams for what you did. So I feel like very appropriate.
I'm one of the like most saddest bummed people to lose the playbacks because I love them too. But I guess we have to move the show towards a direction where the most people are going to get the most out of the content we're doing. And I feel like that's not really the playbacks as much as I hate to admit it.
Yeah.
And as soon as it makes sense for us to be making them again, we would be making them again because it's actually our favorite thing to do because we think they come together in a way that is like just showcases what we can do as a team.
Totally. It's super
better than anything else, even better than this show, as much as like this show is sick. And we'll keep making it because it's fun. The work that goes, like Will's graphics and like he just heightens everything in such a wonderful way. So if they were getting 100,000 views on YouTube, they would make sense.
We would do one every day.
Yeah, totally.
Well, I mean,
we would do one every day.
Every day.
All right.
Every day.
Phoenix O'Lion is like you got to get those $1. It's not even about that. It's not
It's
not
about
enough people were watching them.
Yeah, it's about those
to make it
time
worth it.
bucks. It's like the time that is put into that. Obviously, none of this is your fault, but like we have the company to run as well, and like having so much time sucked up with this stuff, and it's just like and not having enough people watching it that it felt like it justified, even though the people watching it are our favorite people.
Yes.
Hopefully, I would like to just. I would like video game publishers to walk in here and go, here's $400,000. Can you play the new BioShock game? Be like, yeah, sure, we'll do a great playback for you. So that's where we're sitting at the moment. And so you'll see these changes start to roll out over the next couple of weeks. Like we said, there'll be a tail end on the playbacks with At Dead of Night being rolled out and that sort of thing. And then we'll all just figure this out together. But it's super exciting. And it ultimately does mean more content for you guys, but if you don't want to watch live streams, it means that you get this like this kind of show, an extra one a month, which I think will be cool.
Yeah, and it definitely means, as you said, more content, more gameplay, and like getting through more games to talk about versus the playbacks were always like us spending a month at a time focusing on one game for a few hours that was a bit obscure, which was fun, but it's like to stay relevant to talk about what, everything that's coming out and to like have those discussions with you guys, we think is probably a bit more important and hopefully heaps more fun.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Hey, happy guys, come on.
Oh no, I'm happy. I'm excited.
Cool. It's just that like lol.
I'm just like I feel like it's difficult to express how this will be better in the long run, but I think it actually absolutely will.
Totally. Like we're murdering a darling.
Yeah.
It's like imagine that you have twins in the womb.
Oh my
God.
God.
One is killing the other one, and you need to get rid of that. And it's like that one's not going to live anyway, so we need to get rid of this one, and ultimately it will make the family stronger.
Look how well fed this one is.
But
oh God,
how can you ever not see a killer when you look at those extra streams we're doing every day?
Exactly. Like every time you look at those streams, you go, I don't want you.
Every time something mildly misses a beat and isn't as funny, You're like, no, it was funny.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, you would have cut that joke out, wouldn't you? Huh?
And we're always sitting on them, like, as we said, in a perfect world where everything goes great and we expand and we grow and we get to do more things in the future and we get commissioned to make a regular old television show or something.
What the fuck are you talking
I
about?
don't know.
Get commissioned to make a television show.
No, you're right. We wouldn't want to do that. But I'm just saying, they are, as you said, they're something we'd love to do again in the future. So if the circumstance ever saw itself, the TV thing was the wrong idea. I get it. But we'd love to do them in the future again.
Are we Jeff, do you want more of the content? Jeff, tell us if you want more of the content. I hope you do.
All right, good. That was the energy we needed at the end.
That's what I'm here for.
Thank you very much, everyone, for watching Back Pocket tonight. A massive thank you to the mods for making the Discord such an incredible place to be. Mods, realize we dropped a lot of this information on you as well, because we literally were still having a meeting 15 minutes before we went to air going,
And also-
are we going to announce this now, or are we
And
going to do this
also
live?
live on air, we had another mini meeting.
That's how
I think that's a good way to have meetings.
I think so.
Yeah. Stuff moving.
As long as you reveal the information that you were talking about straight away. By the way, the question that I asked was like, should we say that we're cutting the playbacks? And then we ended up just saying literally every single plan that we had.
That's right.
Thank you very much to the Back Pocket patrons who make this possible. The patrons and the people who subscribe on Twitch. Every single dollar and cent that you send our way is going right into the pockets of the show to make the show better. Massive thank you to our top stitchers, Reese, Oranishi, Tim, Mason, Not Nathan, Slowpunk, LokiCat, Raj, Akarash, Camo, Avexia, Nicrotex, and Vegabus. Speaking of the devilish Raj, stick around for the post show presented by Raj.
Please, if you haven't already, go and check out the podcast versions of the playbacks, the Pocket Watches, and leave a review if you get a chance to as well. We love those as well, and we'll be hopefully reading more of them out in the future. And, along with the comments on the YouTube videos and the likes and the dislikes, whatever, just, sub and do all those things as well, because that really helps us out at the same time.
Any engagement is good engagement.
Damn right.
And everyone give love to the mods, because I'm sure I really pissed them off by announcing all this stuff and not actually doing it. And you know how I am, and also I didn't mean to do it like that, but we were just running out of time. Cut to the credits.